Hi guys, welcome to Mystic Frequency. I'm Lisa and I'm a collective tarot reader or divinationist, if you will. I enjoy tarot, I enjoy oracle cards, charms, Scrabble, you name it. That's one of my passions and it's something I love to do. Now, I really wanted to put myself, in front of the camera, like really put myself in front of the camera so you can kind of see feel my energy so that way you know that I'm putting as much positivity out there as I can. I haven't been able to do very many readings because I've been having to do essentially what this topic is about. And so, like I said, as I'm talking to y'all, like my biggest thing is, being able to balance my mind, being able to balance what my body needs, what my heart is telling me, and how I can really develop a connection with spirit by balancing and going within, going within to that inner warrior. I've been on an archetype journey, if I can speak, and it has been one of the best things that I have ever done for myself and has really helped me be more disciplined, more aware and perceptive of my body's needs. And if I can show anything from personal experience, then I want to share that. So that way, no one's alone. No one's alone in their own thoughts. And, there is a way to kind of like break a cycle or just tune into things that you may not be aware of that are creating certain triggers in your life, such as not having good, healthy boundaries or not being able to express yourself when you find that you've been taking care of everybody else's needs and now it's time to take care of your own. So I love this topic and I really, 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 truly hope that I'm able to reach the collective. And even if there's nothing in this reading that may be applying to you, don't try to force or make something click, but there should be something here that, it's like when you're in an office and they're, especially if you're going to counseling or therapy of any kind, and they're really wanting you to, tap into your senses, especially when you find that you're a very anxious person. I can contend that I am a very anxious person, if I can explain that. So, regulating your body, regulating your mind, that's something we each are responsible for. That is our responsibility as, humans living this, this earth experience that we're having right now. And understanding, there are a lot of things that we hold on, that we internalize and we pick up and we forget to kind of like drop things at the door when it is time for us to drop it and then begin the next chapter in our life. And when you're wanting to start something new, do you want to carry on the same energy from the previous chapter? Do you want to experience the same things that you have going on in your life? If yes, then great, you're exactly where you want to be. You want to keep this energy going. But if you don't, if it's like a no, I'm tired of living like this, I'm tired of experiencing this, I'm tired of thinking like this, I'm tired of, putting myself off and not doing what I need to be doing, then this is that reading for you. This is that first step. So I'm excited. So let's go ahead and dive into this reading, and I'll go ahead and finish the rest of this intro. But I just wanted to say hello. Hi, I'm Lisa, and I love you so much, and I want you to be a part of this journey with me. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, here are the 5 piles that I have here today. Now, what is this reading going to kind of look like? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at whatever pile has been calling to you, and we're going to dive into that crystal energy check. And this will be another kind of confirmation of, is this my energy or is this someone else's energy? Or if this isn't my energy, was there another pile that was calling to me? Or perhaps maybe I should notate like when a pile does call to me and then come back to it and check in, and maybe I'll know what this energy was talking to me about. And then the next thing we're going to do is I always try to use my Astro dice as much as I can because it has been the best tool for me whenever I'm doing my energy check. Now, I've already rolled them for each pile and I've got the influences already notated. And then, The next thing I'm going to do is that deep dive. But the first two things when you are listening to these readings is this my energy or am I called to something else? That's the biggest thing. So the Astro dice and the crystal check is essentially your cue to know if this pile is for you. And then once you feel comfortable and say, yeah, actually, this does kind of sound like what I'm going through, then I'm going to break down your mind, your body, and, your heart spiritual needs. And, give that affirmation that each card is essentially wanting to bring to the table that wishes for you to say, I am this, I am this, or I am this, and really see how like you can embody that affirmation. And then we're going to look at any potential blocks that need to, you need to be aware of that need to be brought to your attention, because currently this may be keeping you from being able to meet your needs. And your guides are also going to come through and give you a little bit of guidance on how to heal those blocks. Now, I am excited, and you will always be able to find the links for each of these piles in the timestamp within the description box below, if I can speak. And, always take this reading as, I said it a little bit earlier in the intro, but, only take what resonates. There's something for everyone. And then there's, information that's specifically for one individual out there. But it is my goal to really share something for everyone. And this last pile, if I didn't talk about it already, this last pile over here is only going to be on my Patreon. And that is one way to support my channel and, help me purchase more cards and just be able to be of service to others, if you will, and keep doing what I'm doing. But I love my channel and I love what I do and I love the comments that I receive and I just love when I do get that feedback. So if y'all ever have feedback or if y'all have anybody you recommend for any of these, these tarot channels, like I love looking for teachers. I love looking for anybody that knows more than I do, so that way I can learn and just be of more service. So, and I do kind of like want to recommend some of my favorite tarot spiritual workers that have been out there. One of them is House of Scrying, but she also has a channel called Inkblot. I 100% recommend checking her channel out. It is so good. I mean, so good. And she is so artistic and just wonderful and down to earth. And she will tell you like it is. And sometimes we need that kind of medicine in the world. And I just enjoy it whenever she uploads her channel. So please check her out. Another of my favorite is Kino Tarot, ASO Tarot, and Nordic Lights, Charmed Intuition. Those are some of my favorite people that I enjoy watching that I will recommend to anybody. I recommend to my family, my friends, but I encourage y'all. Oh, and Jim Goddess. I almost forgot her. But please check her out. They don't know me at all. They don't know me. So, but I just want to share a little bit of love, the love that I have for them with y'all. But let's go ahead and get into our benevolent intentions, our breathings, and then I'll see y'all over if y'all haven't already selected a pile. All right, so let's go ahead and take a deep breath and let your mind focus on a pile. And if you do have issues with a pile being selected, you can hold your hand over whichever pile. And when you feel that tug, that pull, then, or if you notice that, your hand is over one pile more than another, then you will know that that pile or piles are for you. But benevolent spirit guides, ancestors, the divine creator, and the highest good version, the listener and I can become. Please help us choose a pile or piles that will benefit us in areas of our mind, body, and spirit, especially in our heart center today. Help them help us to discover our resonating messages and any insights that are important. Reveal the blocks that may be preventing us from meeting our needs and advice that will help us. Thank you, and Thank you for your constant love and wisdom. With much love and appreciation, your students and teachers. Now let's go ahead and do three good breaths. 3 good breaths, if I can use my fingers. So that first breath, we want to focus. The second, we want to release. The third, we want to receive. So the first one, let's go ahead and breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. I'm going to do one more breath for good measure. All right, guys. If you are ready to select your pile, you are more than welcome to see me on the other side. If not, you can go ahead and pause this video and take as much time as you need. Take as long as you need, my dear. But I'm excited. Let's go ahead and get started. Hello, my dear pile ones, my beautifuls. Let's go ahead and check into your crystal energy to see what we need to understand about what we have today that our mind, body, and our heart is telling us. And I love that you chose this crystal because it reminds me of hydrangeas. And you know, if you know anything about flowers, if you want a specific color of hydrangea flower, whether it be purple or blue, you have to really look at the pH of the soil that you have. And so if you're wanting something blue, or if you're wanting to express yourself, because, you know, the color blue makes me think of the throat chakra and being able to voice and communicate what I need. And, you know, that is one of the biggest ways we can like let someone know that we need a little bit of assistance, we need a little bit of help, maybe we need someone to kind of pick up the work around us, especially if we've been doing most of the work ourselves, or we're finding that we're burnt out and drained. And, you know, it's like that red light, yellow light, green light. And the best way you can let someone know that you need something is by first giving them that heads up. You know, my flowers are turning blue. And when they're turning blue, that's when I need to, you know, I need some time to myself. I need to speak my truth. I need to open up. But let's go ahead and flip it over so we can read the back. So this is Lazulite, cosmic serenity, peace. The cosmic forces are at play with Lazulite, bringing serenity, peace, and tranquility to anyone who crosses paths with the stone. Lazulite comes from the Arabic word lazward, meaning sky or heaven, and referring to the sky blue color of the stone's surface. It stimulates the third eye, drawing out psychic and intuitive abilities and dispelling worry, anxiety, and stress to promote a clear state of mind. Use Lazulite when you need extra strength to heal addictive habits and to give yourself that inner peace against personal demons, with it being Jupiter in Gemini, Jupiter in Sagittarius. And I love that this card does tell a little bit about the planet and the astro connections that it has. But cosmic serenity and peace, those seem to be the biggest things that your whole energy field is needing right now. With Jupiter being in Gemini and Sagittarius, it's one of those things that is helping you expand in areas of communicating, collaborating with others, and reaching out and networking to those that may be able to assist you. Or, you know, I was talking a little bit about if you're at work and you're doing a lot of work, or if you find that you're the person that takes on a lot of tasks because you like doing the hard work, you know, when you do hard work and you feel good about the results that you have. But, you know, you may be someone that allows other people to kind of like take it easy because you value when things are made easy for you. So I can honestly say that who I am talking to today, this is someone who paves the path, who is ahead of everyone, who is taking care of all the thorns in their rose bushes so no one gets cut. Or I can see this being someone that is like, okay, I know this is probably something really difficult for them that is very easy for me, so I'm going to pick it up, make it as easy for them, so that way we can get this project off the ground. We could make these meetings more smoother if I just take control. But I am really feeling that can be an addictive habit, when you find that you're addicted to self-service. Not self-service, service to others is what I mean. You're addicted to helping other people. And yes, that can be one of the best, that can be it can be healing, but it can be toxic at the same time, especially when you reject, your own needs. You deserve to take it easy too. You deserve to have someone recognize, so and so, they really make things a lot easier at work. They make things a lot easier at home. And I really need to, maybe I should like take charge and, follow by their example. And if you have been doing something with the hopes of others, following through, following by your example, and you're not seeing those results, it can cause a lot of like that resentment within you. And then you start to have these demons pop up, because this card did talk about those personal demons where it's like, you see that you do all this work for everybody, so they get it off easy. And then the instant that you need some peace, the instant that you need some calm and serenity in your life, it's like no one wants to give it to you because they're so. And then you have that other demon in your mind that says it's because you're the only one that can do it, or it's because other people are lazy, or it's, you just go down that spiral loop. And, it takes control. And then you start to have resentment towards other people. And then it's just like, if I had just opened up and communicated that, I need some time to myself, or, just explore what you're able to do right now. So Sagittarius is all about adventure and exploring and, getting out there and finding, that positivity in life. And Sagittarius energy is so positive. And I feel like that is what you need right now. You need to feel positive about something in your life, and whether it be your romantic relationships, platonic, or whoever you are in contact with, or even just with yourself, even just feeling a little bit more positive, especially if you feel drained. And, if you have been someone that's been kind of like letting your curiosity just kind of sit on the back burner, you stop seeing things with the eye of a child and wanting to feel the world, create the world that you want to be in, or even in your mind when you're trying to daydream. And when you daydream, can you communicate what it is that you're daydreaming, because you want to make it more physical in your surroundings. But this card is letting you know that there is luck in these areas, that your mind is a very lucky thing to have, the way you think, the way you feel. And people are blessed by being in your presence. And with Jupiter being here, it's like when you are on your highs, that's when you receive the most abundance, the most experiences that really excite you and make you want to keep going after those things. And then when you find that you're in your lows, it's hard and it feels like the world is against you, and then your judgment becomes a little clouded, and then there's like these these coping mechanisms that you may have, especially when you're in tune with your senses and you're feeling these psychic downloads, and your mind is like, what is an illusion? What is true to me? But this card is basically trying to help you dispel any kind of worry, anxiety, or stress that you may have, so that way we can clear your mind. So you can see, what is true from fiction. But I love that you have chose this card. Now let me go ahead and flip the, already I have my Astro dice here, and that is the cards that I have up here. I love using these cards with it. So we have Saturn, feeling restricted, maybe experiencing some struggle, or having to learn hard work and patience, or we're having to experience a little bit more patience with those around us. And we have it in Aries, wanting to feel independent, wanting to be brave and passionate, and be able to, go after the things that, we love, that we want to go after. And then we have it in the third house. And so with the third house, we have early learning, childhood relations, the rational mind, and communication. So this is like how you experience the world at an early stage And that is what kind of contributed to the factors in how you express yourself in a healthy way. But, Saturn, kind of like diving into that a little bit further, it's profound growth with tough love. You may have been given a lot of tough love in your life. And that tough love that you have experienced is what made you so independent. You kind of like had to learn the ropes. You had to do everything probably by yourself. And there probably wasn't a whole bunch of patience. So like when things are very easy for you, one of the questions I kind of would like to ask is, when someone is trying to do the exact same thing as you, are you patient with them, or do you find that you get kind of triggered? Like, why is this hard for you? This is very easy to me. And sometimes it's like some of us didn't have that tough love. And in this case, they can kind of like, especially if you're someone, I'm going back to flowers and taking care of our garden. And, some people are able to make these beautiful floral perfumey gardens, and then some can't even put a seed in the dirt and make it grow. But it may be something that is very easy for you because you're constantly having to take care of the pH in the soil. You're constantly having to monitor your mind and body. And then when you're around somebody that can't do that, that gets very frustrated and flustered, and it's like, how can I be more patient with this person? How can I show them that they have to be disciplined in this moment? But Saturn is its authority. It's where you have traditions, and it's where you have your established personal institutions. This is like the things that, when someone had to take control, and they had to take control on your behalf. And that is one thing I am getting from here. Like your spiritual guide teams has seen that you've had to take control of your entire life. And there have been opportunities where they have, they could have came in and made things a little bit easier. But the best way to ask for help is by asking for help, by letting others know, I feel restricted. I feel like I can't really take this struggle on anymore. And when you kind of like write that down or release it out, even if you're in a room by yourself, have a conversation with your spiritual team. That is the biggest takeaway. And I can attest to this. The most I've ever struggled in my life has always been when I've wanted to fix someone else's battle for them or make things easier for them. So I can attest to this energy, and I feel this energy, and I can learn from this energy. But the instant I release my worries, my doubts, what I have going on in my life, where I couldn't be independent anymore. Everybody depended on me. And the instant I said, I need to depend on something right now. And right now I'm leaning into spirit. And as soon as I did that and I let what I needed to release and, into, the universal realm, it was like a weight was off my shoulders. And what I thought couldn't be resolved became resolved almost instantly. And it's happened time and time and time again. So my loves and my dears, when you start to feel that restriction and it's like you can't do anything with it and there's a wall up, your guides are wanting you to really talk to them. Like they're putting these obstacles, these barriers in your path because there's a time that you need to be more focused on yourself than you are with others. But, there is emphasis on areas that feel broken that need to be focused on, especially when you find yourself in these constant loops here. This card is asking you to be persistent and to monitor how much time you spend on any kind of wounds, especially in your early childhood, that seem to resurface or reoccur, or when you find that you're surrounded by the same type of people, same type of energy. Focus on what is the wound that I can learn from this, and how can I help myself start the healing process that needs to happen. And Saturn wants to help you learn what lessons are your lessons, what lessons are not yours to learn, especially if you've already learned them. Let someone else pick up that for themselves. We can't always be someone's Saturn. We can't always, help. We can't build the restrictions around people, if you get what I mean. But there are limitations that have been placed so you can work more methodically. I know Capricorn has a lot of emphasis in Saturn, and this is a training wheel, not to punish or torture, but to help you learn vital lessons. And I want to kind of I feel like the biggest thing that you feel is punishment is when you take care of yourself. It kills you when you have to step back. It kills you to have to breathe, have to monitor, have to, you had this big plan and this thing that you needed to get done at a specific time, and then your health kind of takes a step out. Before I even videotaped this reading, I was that person. I had this reading already planned out, and it wasn't until this week I was able to do something with it because I immediately got severely sick and had the flu. So take care of yourself. There is major energy here that's going to help provide a little bit of that reconciliation that you need. But more importantly, where do you feel insecure and inadequate in your life? And always know that this is the work your soul came here to do, that came here to alchemize. This is what you signed up to do. If you are someone that paves the path for others because you enjoy helping people on their journey, that was what you signed up to do, and it comes with its own weight. Help yourself on your journey too, not just help others. Now, focusing a little bit into the Aries energy. Now, this is a lengthy reading, so I do kind of want to throw that out there. If you feel like, okay, I need to kind of step back so I can digest this, you're more than welcome to. Write down if anything is inspirational to you that your spirit is bringing to you today. But Aries wants to find excitement. It wants to feel alive. It doesn't want to wait for guidance. It just wants to do. It wants to be physically active. And Aries is always pushing towards uncharted territory. And that could be where you are pushing yourself past your limits. You're pushing yourself into the unknown, and you're being very brave, and you're being this knight, this person who is this warrior that is doing this. And at times, yes, it has been very successful for you because it has helped you really persevere. But in this instant, it's like when your fire has already burned out, and you are in the night now with nothing to keep you warm, nothing to help you see what is in front of you. And then your guides come through and they say, I need you to understand that right now your fire has been put out. Something is no longer making you excited. Something is not making you feel passionate anymore. And this could be that the journey you are on is this something you're supposed to be on by yourself. Aries has this kind of energy where it's it's a bandwagon where everybody is on the wagon with this person, and they're riding it out because they believe in this person's cause, or they believe that the work that this person is doing is influential and will make a difference in their lives or other people's lives. Or if you're at work and you're that pioneer person, like the leader that is leading, that expedition, if you will. But when you find that you're at this point where there is a barrier and now you're feeling a little bit of restriction, the wheels on your wagon are no longer turning, and you're having to get out because now you're stuck. And now it's dark, and you realize you didn't bring the necessary tools with you on this journey. And then when you think that there are people around you that may have a match, or maybe some skills on how to search for firewood, and then you find that you truly are alone. And then this was an experience that maybe if we had more knowledge about, or understanding of, we probably wouldn't have been in this situation where we feel alone. Maybe we let our, Aries energy, it makes me think of, fire, anger, burn, bad. And, we tend to burn people that we don't mean to burn. One of my husband's friends, they're an Aries, and I mean, they are an Aries true and true. I don't know how many times we have seen them, they go about in their life, and then as soon as things get really, really bad, they don't think about, when they try to find the energy that they have, because Aries energy is think of an energy drink that is constantly sustaining itself. So it's like, I can sustain myself. I don't need this. And then come to find out, it is something that they can't sustain any longer because they've lost their passion. They've lost their follow through, their follow up, if you will. And so your guides are really wanting you to write down what you're very passionate about, things that you have experienced in your life that really light you up, or even the story that you have that you want others to hear, or even, what you need to hear for yourself. That is what this card is talking about. If there's something you have on your chest that you've wanted to say, but you've been keeping it to yourself, that's been making you feel restricted, especially when we are talking about your early years, you want someone to understand, why are you the way you are? But you're not going to let it hold you back any longer, but you see that there's a need for a little bit more assistance. You need people who have that energy and fuel, that they've taken care of their needs, and they see that you are struggling a little bit. So what areas feel stagnant in your life? Think about that water pool. Think about this garden I was talking about, and you have this water pool that is in your backyard, and is it a stream that is, constantly coming and going? Or do you find that this is just a puddle that is filling with dirt and debris and it's not going anywhere? There's nothing to filter the water out. You don't see any plants kind of growing out of it. But don't let it be stagnant. Don't allow yourself to be stagnant. Don't allow yourself to be immobilized. But make a decision about an area of your life that you need to jump in wholeheartedly with, and allow any kind of fear to be put behind you. Fear is just something that we see that is created from a future that hasn't been made yet. But I do want to note that with Saturn and Aries, it's forcing you to sit and learn about your goals, your needs, the rewards of finishing projects after you finish them. Aries wants to jump into something new immediately after they finish something. But let's celebrate. Let's celebrate what we have completed. And then once we have celebrated, then we can focus on something else. But the work you are driven to complete will matter most, because that's what's going to keep your fuel going. That's how you're going to be able to find those that are like-minded that want to help you. But self-discipline and staying physically active and moving through any barriers or self-limitations or perceptions that you may be carrying will be another thing that you will have to put some focus into. But even when you're not moving, you are still moving, especially with time. I just want to say that. Now, networking your needs is the next thing we're going to talk about. So House 3 is the rational mind. It's how you communicate, or how you develop your skills to communicate with others. And it's the early experiences that shaped them. And this is how well you have been able to absorb all the info and the story that you have been telling yourself mentally. Review early relationships or relations to connect how you interact with adults and others. How did they shape your verbal and physical communication? Because this card is telling you your voice really does matter. If this card appears, you have been feeling as if no one hears you, no one cares, no one sees your struggle, no one sees that you're about to burn out, no one sees that you have been completing so much in your life, and it feels like no one is acknowledging it. Your voice matters. Have one-on-ones with yourself or one-on-one conversations with those that may be involved in your life. Speak openly and freely. Create the intimate setting that you want, the right place, the right time, the right environment. So that way there will be no triggers. There will be no, this isn't going to matter even if I talk about it. You are setting yourself up for success here. And if you find that you are dealing with people that you can't talk to, that don't know how to listen to understand before being understood, write out what you want and then do an exchange. And then read, but don't react. Hold off your reaction and see if there's anything you can internalize. But your guides are coming through that one of the biggest things that your mind and body needs is how you talk about what it is you want to do, how you get other people to work alongside you, and how you deal with restrictions when someone says no. And if someone tells you no, how does it remind you of your early upbringing? But overall, let's deal with this and, see what we can do to really help bring this all in together. So that way you don't feel shame or fear and that you're losing your sense of control. That is the biggest thing, is it's like that loss of control slipping from your hands. And I can go back in my own memory and tell you, like, I grew up in an environment that was very chaotic and I had to take control. And then when I became an adult, it's like that control never left me. I felt like I had to control my thoughts. I had to control, like, whenever my kids were little and I was remembering, like, oh my gosh, when I'm out in public with my children and, my children are being children, it's like I felt like I had to control my children being children. And it was horrible and I hated that. And then I got to a point where I said, no, my kids are going to be kids and that's what I want them to be. So let's go ahead and look into each specific part that we're going to focus on, guys. I'm going to go ahead and put these up here. I will have to put something on one of these cards because it has stuff that needs to be censored and I don't know how to censor things. Oh, and maybe that's why your pile got the one pile that I needed to put something on. It's like censoring things out of your life that you don't want others, to see. Maybe you do want someone to see things so that way you can show them your most authentic self. But let me go ahead and make sure that I can. Okay, this one's a good one. So I have judgment with the affirmation, I am optimistic. And then, oh my goodness, if I can pick this up. That's the one I have to censor. Maybe I can hide it with my butterfly. Okay. If you will. I love this deck. I just hate that I have to censor. And then we have the world with I am fulfilled. And then the last one over here is, okay, she's good. Queen of Swords with I am strong. Definitely, here's what I'm hearing. Now, this is divided into, here's our mind, what our body needs, and then what our heart is trying to tell us. But with judgment, I'm hearing stay true to your word. When you say you are going to do something, actually mean it, because it seems like you may beat yourself up when you're not able to complete a task or a promise, or when other people make a promise to you that you know they're not going to be able to keep, and it really bothers you. Now, back into that early upbringing, if you had parents or adults in your life that they made these promises, they said they were going to do this, and then they never followed through, and then it's like, and then you wonder, why am I like this? Well, that's because it's like anytime someone made a promise, it fell through. So as an adult, always make sure that they are realistic. Use your best judgment here when it comes to your mind, and make a decision that you are willing to be accountable for. If you cannot take accountability for your actions, especially when it's like you've let the burner go through and you have nothing left to do, and then you get this big outburst and it affects everybody around you, and it's like the house is caught on fire, then that's something we have to take accountability for. Something I have had to learn when I stopped taking care of my needs, or I let my mind run rampant and then things get real bad, or when I allow myself to be negative and just be like, oh, this always happens, it's always happening to me, why is it always happening to me, is it because I'm just, and then you just give yourself XYZ, but your mind is saying, I need you to be optimistic, I need you to use your best judgment, especially when other people have been digging their own grave. And it's like you come into the room and you're blowing the trumpet and immediately reacting before you know what is going on, and everybody is kind of like, this card makes me think everybody's like, oh my God, what did we do wrong? And you react before you can kind of see the situation. And my son, he's entering into preteens. I mean, he is a preteen and entering into his teenagers. And so he horses around a lot with his other friends. And sometimes it's really hard to tell if they are playing around or if they are physically killing each other, if you will. You know how kids can be. So I immediately jump in and I'm like, what is going on? Why are we fighting? What is causing all these issues? And it turns out that it could have been something they were watching, or it could be like it wasn't actually someone hurting, they were laughing. It's like being able to use your best judgment here, and focusing on what demands a great deal from you. What is your call that you feel you are responsible for? And what wrongdoings need to be brought to light? Like if you notice someone is doing something wrong, whether it be at work or home with your partner, and you know what they're doing is wrong, how do you bring it to their attention? Do you hold it within? Do you just let your mind? It's like if I talk about it, if I try to say anything, it'll be just like how it was in my other relationships. This is how I've seen it happen with my own parents. Like anytime one parent had something that they disagreed with the other, it became a brawl or an argument. Or maybe you've seen your parents didn't even talk to each other and you could just feel the energy in your house. But your mind wants you to explore why you think something is wrong and why it should be dealt with. Go down that rabbit hole, put it on a piece of purple, start with what I think is wrong, and where does that opinion, where does that idea, where does that feeling come from? Is it something maybe an aunt, an uncle, a brother may have felt? It's like, and they projected it onto you, so you had to feel that way. What is yours versus what is not yours? And really trying to change that perception that you may have. And what hard decision has been on your mind? That's what I'm really getting right here. Because when judgment is coming out and we have the world, there's something here that we may be avoiding, a chapter we need to be closing before we kind of like step into something new. It's like, if I do something now, it's going to be hard. Saturn wants to remind you that, yeah, it's hard to do the things that you don't want to do. But if you don't do them, the more restricted you're going to feel and the more, unfulfilled. Because this is what this card is I am fulfilled in the world. And What will help you feel confident with your next move or thought? What would you need? So when you are focusing on that hard decision that needs to be made, that is on your mind right now, that your mind keeps working through, because this is what I'm getting is there is something you are having to think about that you know you need to take action on. Now we need to reaffirm why we need to take those steps, why we need to take those measures. What role do others play in your life? What are your responsibilities versus another person's responsibilities? And how can you make a move and deal with others that don't agree or people that may doubt you? It's like when people pass judgment onto you and it's like, that's not even me. That's not who I am. I am this hard worker. And then the instant I need a break, everybody says, I'm not a hard worker, or they're going to say I'm not a hard worker. That's the kind of thing that we need to focus on is, when we are being very judgmental of our own selves, or we're projecting what we think others are going to feel about ourselves, we need to be more optimistic. If we came in here and trumpeted and said, I need to let everybody know I'm about to burn out. So I'm going to take a break. And then everyone down here is like, oh God, yeah. Just let us know what you need. If there's anything we can do, please let us know. We'll divide it up. We'll do whatever you need. Just let us know. And then you can go and take a break, take a breather, take a nap. Do something that is good for your mind. Breathe, meditate, write out what you need. Now, going over into your body wants to feel fulfilled. Your body is your temple. Your body is your world. Your body wants to be able to explore, but when we do not take care of it, we cannot travel the world. And we need to be courageous when we are in front of others where we can be our whole self. And we need to limit the mind games that are going on so that way you can communicate, those needs that are going on in your body. There is a need for self-control here, where we set boundaries, where we protect our peace. Thinking versus feeling. How do you feel about your body? You may have some issues with your body and I love that there is so she's actually got very hairy legs, but she is unabashed by her appearance. She's naked, but she is stepping through as her whole self, regardless if her hair is messy, regardless if she has hairy legs. She is showing up as herself because, it doesn't matter how much hair you have on your legs walk you. The hair on your legs do not prevent you from walking out and being your most authentic self. Or if you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't really done anything with my appearance lately, and your mind is saying, oh my gosh, if I go out looking like garbage, because you're thinking it's garbage, but in reality, you're just owning yourself. You're getting some sunlight. You're taking care of your garden. You're doing what is necessary for you. And her eyes are closed in this picture. And everyone else is, because even if your eyes are closed, people are still going to be looking at you. Whether you are dressed and ready to tackle the world, or if you're not. And you're like me, whenever I went to the store and I had to get medicine and all sorts of stuff, and I had to leave the house, and I wore socks in my sandals. I had bunches of hoodies, and I just my nose was dripping, and I didn't care because I knew I needed to get something for myself. I needed to take care of myself, and I needed my husband to come with me so that way he could make sure I didn't not walk into the store. It's one of those things, is be okay, open your eyes, close your eyes, whatever is going to make you feel good. But don't be afraid of stepping out into the world because your body looks a certain way. This reading, whenever I introduced my upper body, if you will, that's how, the best thing you can do is, if you're going to preach something out into the world, actually follow through with it. So I put myself out there, and I want to give you the courage to put yourself out there too, guys. Put your body out there. Don't be ashamed. Get it moving. And, think about the evidence that can help support the importance of your body's needs. This is someone that I can say is like, I need to see the proof. I need to see the proof if I'm going to do something. If you are trying to start some kind of body workout, or if you're trying to step into a new routine in your life where you're exercising or taking more into your body, or if you're thinking of home tonics that people are using because you don't want to use what you see on the TV that everybody is, commercializing. You want to see the proof for yourself. And I will say, take it step by step. Record how you feel after a workout. Record how you feel when you eat a good breakfast. Those kinds of things. And when you start to do that, you'll see how people see this beautiful butterfly that just bloomed from this ability to search for the proof that you want, so that way you can share that with others. I do feel that, because this is someone that people often too will look up to. Notice what is right for you and your body. What makes you hot, what makes you cold, what makes you sick. And just really listen to it. Make that mind and body connection. Make that mind and body judgment there. And then, if something does really make you exhausted or really takes too much of your time, then I need to alter it. I need to do something different because what I'm doing is not fulfilling me. And when someone comes in and tries to sabotage what it is that you are doing, like maybe, like for my husband, instance, he knows I have to be able to do my yoga and my meditation, and my family even, they know when I take time to myself, I have to be able to do it. If I don't do it, then I see a lot of negative things that are being personified in a negative way, the way I talk to people, my tone, my energy levels, and then I just don't want to be around people. And I love people. So those that would kind of sabotage that for you, or make it harder, or make you feel guilty, or when you're eating a healthy diet and then someone comes in with Burger King or fast restaurant, whatever it may be, and it's just like your mouth waters and you're like, oh my God, I'm doing good for me. It's that kind of thing. Like, make sure you set it out there. Guys, please be respectful. If you are doing it, like, especially if they're holding the French fry in front of your face, or if they're laughing at you whenever you can't do a certain pose and you fall out of the pose, say, hey, you don't have a place right now around me if you're going to be disrespectful like that. I'm doing what is right for my body so I feel fulfilled, so I don't feel like I need to be pressured to be something I'm actually not. Now, your heart wants you to actually feel strong, to feel courageous, to be able to hold a sword up in front of you and pass the judgment when someone has crossed that line. Your heart, especially with the world being here as that Saturnian teacher coming through, where it's working hard for what you're needing, for what you're wanting to learn. And the Queen of Swords is grace and maturity, especially when completing a phase in their life. Take the moment to acknowledge all the hard work it took to get you here. Your heart needs that more than anything. It needs to feel appreciated. It needs to be acknowledged that you are still strong even when you can't do heavy things, when you have to take time for yourself, when your body needs to recuperate. But your body needs to feel, your heart needs to feel, your mind needs to feel that you are strong regardless. So feel confident in your abilities because you have skills that you have perfected at an early age, that you have mastered over time. But be confident in yourself. Be confident that you have what it takes. And if you're wanting to travel or go on a new adventure or maybe look into a new career or new opportunity, this Queen of Swords wants you to feel that you are strong enough, that you are mentally capable enough to take on this new endeavor. And we have another butterfly here at this top. And her mind will go through many, many different transformations and metamorphoses and will constantly change. And your heart, there's nothing wrong when your heart decides to do something different, especially when we're making that hard decision in our life. Something that has been on our mind that we haven't been optimistic about, or the instant that we do have something that feels good to us, that is going to fulfill us, we want to actually go after it. We want to be able to see that clear judgment that is out there in the sky, that there's this little bird that is peeking at me right now, and having a higher perspective here. It's like that intuition is coming through strongly right now to let you know that when you feel good, that something is a good thing for you, trust it. Your heart is telling you, look at the green in her eyes and the green in her chest. That is her heart's truth here. She is in her environment. Your heart wants to expand in your relationships, like not just expand, like create more opportunities with people who think like you, that care for the details, that are just as passionate about the things that you're passionate about, and can hold a conversation with you even when you don't have high spirits, but they're talking to you with your low spirits, and they don't change the way they feel about you. The Queen wants you to celebrate these markers when you feel stable. When you feel stable, celebrate. I am so glad I feel fulfilled right now. This is such a good feeling that I want to keep going on with. This is how I want to be all the time. And then when you celebrate, and you celebrate how your body takes care of you, how your mind takes care of you, that's when you start to feel really strong in your decision making. But let's go ahead and look at what is currently blocking you. If you haven't even picked up, some key takeaways here from what your cards have been taking or trying to help you with. So we have the Bee here. And I already felt this with your reading, and even with these other cards, starting with your crystal and your Astro energy. Like, you're one hell of a hard worker doing the job of a colony. And what you do does matter. It matters to you. It matters to spirit. It matters to your mind and your body and your heart. And you shouldn't question what you care about. You shouldn't gaslight yourself. You shouldn't allow others to gaslight you. When they say it's not a big deal, it is a big deal. It's a big deal to you. And then we have to explain why it is. That's why we have to do those webs where we pin back to point A, point B, and we discover, I think like this because I was told to think like this, and now I need to think for myself. But when the Bee is coming through as a block, you're doubting that the wings that you have can carry your body. And there has been science that has been done about the bumblebee, guys. Like, their body is so big compared to their wingspan, but it carries them. They don't think about the fact that science says it's false, that you shouldn't be able to do that. Do you think they care? No, they do what they need to do because they understand that they have a purpose. They have something that they are striving towards, that they want to work towards, that brings them that sense of passion and connection that they have with those that they are around. They don't question what their body's limits are compared to others. They don't question when someone says, hey, did you know you're not actually supposed to fly like that? Oh, really? Why? You know, because I've been doing it my whole life. And that's what I feel for you. You've been doing it your whole life. You're earnest and hardworking, and you can be very democratic. I mean, we have the Queen of Swords here who is able to kind of like separate her emotions from, from her mind when she needs to. But she also knows that when she doesn't take care of her needs, the two can be mixed, and that's when chaos can ensue. But you are a joy and a delight to be around. People are going to want you to recover and do the things that you want to do. They want to be around this positive energy that you share. So finding steady work and thoughtfully finishing a task to completion is going to help you here, especially if you find that you haven't been able to finish anything in your life. And just recently, I've been going through my house, and I've been finding all these things that I said I was going to do or said I was going to create, like art pieces. And I had a wood burning toolkit that I've had since 2020, guys. And I just used it the other day. And I didn't use it because I was like, well, if I use this one piece of wood I have, then if it turns out bad, that's a forever mark that's ingrained in this wood, and I'm never going to be able to get it out. Or if I do this, it's not going to look how I want it to look in my mind. Or, or these weights that I had around my house, and I had them, and I never really started using them until about a few weeks ago. And so I started asking myself, if I'm not going to use it, then why do I have it in my home? If I'm not going to use it, why do I have it on my desk? If I'm not going to use it, then why do I have it? And then you'll be able to be like, well, if I'm not going to use it, then I'm going to use it one time. And then if it messes up or if I do something wrong, that's okay. I'll learn something different, but at least it's not sitting on a shelf collecting dust. Focus on the sensitive subtleties that are around you. What are your senses telling you? I do kind of want to notice your stinger has been taken away from you, because this bee doesn't have a stinger. And you don't want to hurt people. So you've kind of evolved yourself from allowing your sword from being taken away from you. And now it's like someone has placed the sword back in your lap. They have placed your stinger back in your lap. So people can hear your hum. They can understand the vibrations that are going on around you and be able to pick up on cues a lot better. But focus on the things that your senses are trying to tell you. Be active. Find things that make you feel content. And then when you feel annoyed or you find that you're griping about all the things that you're doing or you're overworked, take that mini vacation that you need so you don't find something to sting someone with. It's like, I may not have a stinger, but I'll find something. It's that kind of energy that I'm feeling. But you need a mini vacation, my dears. I want you to explore the world. I want you to make the best judgments that you can make right now that will really enable you to be brave and passionate and, prove who you need to prove wrong, even if that is yourself. Now, I'm going to go ahead and focus on the thing that will kind of like help you with this block, so that way you can kind of do some healing. And we have connect with the cosmos. The night sky holds many a wonder, some that we see with our eyes and some that we know with our hearts. If you have pulled this card, then it is time to look beyond. Go stargazing, learn the constellations, study astrology, or take time in prayer to the divine. Let the magic of the universe connect to the boundlessness within you. And I love how the light was just kind of like tuning in, like connect with the cosmos, connect with the cosmos, release what you need to release and explore, go within, go to areas within your mind's mountains that no one has ever touched or even seen the peaks of. And then self-care, self-love oracle. Gently squeeze the back of your neck with your right hand. Release the tension. Yes. Release the tension. Where do you feel the most tense right now in your body? Where do you feel the most tense in your life? You know, massage your neck, massage your shoulders. Ask someone, say, hey, can you like massage my back for me? Massage my hands if you've been working your hands. But be gentle with yourself. Be gentle. Now, my loves, that is your reading. And if you felt called to another reading, you are more than welcome to go ahead and dive into another pile. But I am so blessed to have you here today with me, and I've learned something through you, through me, and even spirit even has came through. But if you enjoyed this content, one of the easiest way to support me is by hitting a like, subscribing so you can see more when I update or create more releases, and share if you know someone who could benefit from this kind of reading, or maybe this sounded someone like else that you know that you're very close to. Share it with them. Help them go through their own personal transformations as well, because you are a teacher. You're a Saturn teacher. But all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end. Bye. Hello, my pile twos. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here today. So let's go ahead and dive into your crystal energy and then your astro, just to kind of see what your mind, body, and heart are kind of like communicating right now. And love looking at this as if it's a cloud. That's what it kind of reminds me of. Or you know, what is that, Care Bear? Oh, the one with the cloud, Grumpy Bear? Is that? No, that's a dwarf. But this is kind of like trying to let you know, if it makes me think of like, did you have a cloud over your head? Or maybe you've been kind of like in the clouds about something, or it's like you can kind of see, is this a storm, or is this going to give us, you know, an opportunity to scry and see what we can create from this cloud? Like, as I'm kind of like tipping this, I don't know why you may not see it, but I see a little arm, I see an eye, there's a nose, and it's like a hand that's kind of like, it's like a fist in the air, like, heck yeah, let's do this. But it also kind of looks like a superhero that's flying through the sky. I don't know if you can see that, but they've also kind of got like a Johnny Bravo kind of dew on their head. So it's kind of fun. It also kind of reminds me of Mario, if you will. I don't know why, but I see a little mouth. But so, like, let's see what this card is going to tell us. So this is blue aragonite, or aragonite, however you may pronounce it. Empathy, compassion, communication. Communication is key. And with blue aragonite, you will definitely send the message. Blue aragonite activates the throat, third eye, and heart chakras, allowing you to communicate from a whole and centered place, while the stone instills hope and inspiration. This crystal enhances your ability to empathize and show compassion for others, fostering authentic connections. Blue aragonite's communication skills are also carry across when you are communicating with the spirit realm, cultivating a calm and relaxed space for even more clarity to come through. And we have Earth and Capricorn. So feeling empathy, being more compassionate, being able to communicate. And that cloud is basically kind of like sending something through. People can see the cloud over you. Is the cloud have rainbows? Oh, you know what? It reminds me of I don't remember if it was the man or the woman in Encanto, that when her emotions were all over the place, it caused a rain, and like people was like the wedding day and the birthdays and whatnot. It's like they needed to make sure she was confident and she wasn't anxious or worried. Otherwise things would, a thunderstorm would come through, or, everybody be swept in by a flood. But that's kind of like what this is saying is like people can read your expressions, like your face says it before anything else. And now it's like when you are sitting in front of a mirror, can you recognize your own emotions? Can you recognize what is currently above you? And that needs to be brought to your attention. But with Earth and Capricorn, it's like your duty to self versus others. This is where you are feeling accomplished, where you can work methodically without having to skip steps. Like you're not being rushed. And if you feel rushed, it's like, it really grinds you a certain way. But this is a very grounded and nurturing kind of energy that is very patient, but it's very responsible, and it cares about earning respect. It cares about, authority. Who is the one in control? Who is allowed to say what the rules are? And if someone tells you these are the rules, but it doesn't come from the right mouth, how does that affect you mentally? Or like, how does it trigger your body? Does it halt you and make you not want to work with others? Or even when you are in a position where you are a leader or an authority figure, or you find that you're having to take control because, there are things that are creating an environment that maybe it's not crystal blue, maybe it's dark, maybe it's affecting everybody's ability to, work in harmony with one another. But this is an energy that is really helping you communicate what you are seeing, what you are feeling, what you are noticing. And you're doing it from a place where others are starting to find some hope. Someone wants to do something about this. And that can be a hard thing to have on your shoulders. I will say that. And it's like you want everyone to kind of get along with each other. And then when everyone doesn't get along, it makes you feel a certain way. I can honestly feel sorry, I just had a blank download. I don't know what that was about. Or you find you freeze. There we go. That's the word. But if there's one thing that you know about clouds, clouds have to be able to move all around Earth. It doesn't just stay in one area. And then when you find that you have tropical thunderstorms that are just fixated over one island or mountain, if you will, and it's like it brings this ominous energy, or it's inviting. It makes you want to, you see the sunshine, you can dip your toes in the sand, you can feel the beach, and you can see that the clouds aren't really moving towards you. They're actually moving horizontal. They're not affected by anything that is going on. But you're being asked to really notice those clouds and be able to discern, are they mine? Are they someone else's? Am I projecting that out there? Or can I just relax and enjoy it and allow myself not to be stuck on one thing? Just let it pass through me. The sun isn't always out there to shine every single day. Some days we have our thunderstorms, but we also know that eventually we will have our sunshine again. But let me go ahead and break down into the Astro dice. So we have Venus, giving and receiving love, finding value, seeing beauty. This is the area of, how you earn money, how you spend time in the things that make you feel good, that make you feel invitive or inviting. We have it in Gemini, curiosity, intellect, and networking, how we, focus on a task or maybe multiple tasks at the same time, because we don't want our mind to be stuck on one thing at a time. Otherwise, we probably won't finish something if we only focus our time and attention into that one thing. So we have all these other outlets around us. And then we have in the house 10, structure, discipline, your life's mission, accomplishments, and career. So I do kind of want to say that especially since we're talking about Venus and we have house 10 here around your working area, there is some need to kind of like put some emphasis in that. The people you work with, or when you are in an area where you are earning your living, is it beautiful? Does it make you feel good? Does it add value to you? Or are you not allowed to add a piece of your beauty in the mix? But Venus reveals your need in relationships, your need, whether it be platonic, whether it be personal, whether it be familial, within your friends. It's how you give and receive love, what you value, and what your perception of beauty is. And it does matter. This is where you take time to notice your talents and the gifts that you bring that are shown where you find the most joy and pleasure. This is what you will give the most time and attention to. This can be stimulating conversations that help showcase this with the right people, because the right people do matter. And Gemini's like, oh, feed my mind. Let's explore this topic together. Let's explore quantum physics, or even let's explore, the occult, the taboo, anything that's just, it makes you feel a certain way, and being able to open up with others. Venus wants you to see that you are desirable, and you need to believe it. You are a desirable person. You're desirable for these career opportunities. You're desirable for these romantic relationships, whether you are single or in a relationship. You are deserving and valuable and desirable, and people want to make you their life mission, like as you want to make others your life mission, or your work your life mission, your hobbies and passions. And it's like the structure that you need. Like, you are desirable. You don't have to change the scaffolding in order for others to see this pearl that is within you. Venus loves good self-care. When you surround yourself with others, treat them as if they are a mirror of your own self-worth. So the people you surround yourself is a reflection of who you think you deserve to be around, what kind of company you should sit in. And if you sit in bad company all the time, it's because there's this lack of, I don't deserve to be in the president's company, or the queen's company, the king's company. I don't feel as if I'm desirable enough to hold a good conversation with these other people. But you are. You have a lot of things that you have experienced in your life that most people haven't. And even if it's like you can start on one topic, and that topic turns into a roller coaster of excitement and sadness too, even, is what I'm feeling. But it's not bad sadness. It's the kind of sadness that makes you stand up and rise above what may have held you down at some point in your life. And that became a part of your journey, and all the things that you have tried and explored. Maybe things didn't work out, but this is worth having a conversation with. Like, people want to hear your stories. People want to hear the things that you have done with your life, or the things that have helped transform you. Be the social butterfly, and see that people are attracted to that grace you have. People are attracted to the different stripes and patterns you have on your wings. People are attracted to how beautiful and big this pearl has gotten. And the instant that you open up and find that there are people that actually do want to hear what you have to say, or feel even, that's going to help you network even further. It's going to help you accomplish more in your life and explore more things, even maybe re-explore things that didn't work out. Maybe there was a project that didn't fly because you didn't have the tools at the time. Maybe you didn't have the knowledge, and maybe by opening up and exploring and sharing, like, I was trying to become, I just heard mushroom forager, be more knowing about the plants that I have in my environment, or I wanted to try a new beauty routine, but it's never worked out for me and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And then you find out that it's like, oh no, it's just the way you're holding your brush whenever you're doing your eyes. It's that kind of thing. It's someone wanting to come in and really show you how to be the best version of yourself. But this good self-care that I was talking about, it wants you to seek the independence and the love of being independent and giving yourself the things that you need in any area of department that you have that needs that attention. After all, if you start giving yourself the time and day, it lifts a weight off of you. It makes you feel really good about yourself. This is pure divine feminine energy. It's embracing your flow, where you are going, and not trying to match what someone else is doing, but just doing things on your own time while you are appreciating the garden that is around you, or the flowers, or when you complete something that maybe at work, it's like, I feel really good about this project that I'm about to turn in, or I just had this big group meeting and I stood in front of everybody and I basically talked about this thing that was the goal of our semester, if you will, and I felt really good about it. Or when you turn in a piece of paper and it's poetry and you feel so good about it, it's beautiful to you. It's beautiful to your eyes. Or when you make a meal and it just feels good to you, like you are exploring your senses here. But give yourself moments of beauty and watch what deepens and attracts you. Time to make a more loving look in the mirror next time. So this is what this is talking about. The next time you look at yourself, I want you to really be more loving in your gaze. Candles, baths, adding home decor that you've maybe created, or maybe from your experiences from being with others and someone gives you something that is very beautiful to you, display that in your home. That way you have something to look back on and say, oh, that was that conversation where I came into contact with someone and the next time I met them, they gave me a gift. Being open to receiving love, being open to receiving gifts. If you have a problem receiving gifts, this is asking you, actually accept when something is giving you an offer. Gemini is asking you to learn a little bit about everything that catches your eye with Venus. Seek those new experiences. Get clear channels of info, like from the right sources that you know are true, that they are, you can fact check them. You can go to the websites, or even when you're reading the ingredients on something, you're able to actually say, oh, well, yeah, like in the medical field, like this is either really good for me, or it's like if I pair it with this, it's bad for me. Like really check what people are telling you and communicate. Like if you find that someone is spreading information, they may be the one that knows everything about a specific topic, and then you find that you actually have more talent in that area than they do, and they are not actually giving the right information. This is where you're going to be able to step in. And yes, it may be like your body's like, oh, do I actually do this because I don't want to seem a certain way? But no, there's a right time for everything. And you can kind of like, if you don't want to call them out in a social setting, you can say, let's have a one-on-one. Hey, I don't know if you know this, but if you go out and pick that specific mushroom you were talking about, that can cause someone's liver to shut down. It's that kind of thing. Make sure what you are learning, what you are gaining, what information you are feeding yourself, what skill is being taught, that if you are the expert in that field, step in when you see that someone is not representing it correctly. If a task you perform loses its interest, change it up. Pair it with another task. Geminis are my multitaskers. So if you're someone that finds that you can be burnt out quite a bit, or maybe you're like, oh my gosh, I've heard a lot of bad things about people who say they can multitask. Yeah, I can multitask, but I feel like that's going to hurt me if I tell someone I'm a multitasker and they're going to think that I can't finish something. And then that's not the case. The case is like you're a multitasker of many things, and you're working on the things that are worth your time. And you take breaks when you need to. Maybe you meet a block here. Maybe you had a painting you were creating or a book you were writing and you're stuck. You're blocked on something. By having another outlet, by exploring this other outlet, now you have maybe another idea to add to this detail. Like you were creating the branches. You were creating this masterpiece in your life. And it's worth exploring other things. You are someone that wants to evolve and not stay stuck. It's like, I just heard I want a hug, but intimacy can be difficult. I'll talk about everything except what I really need to talk about right now, or what I really want to talk about right now. It's like, here's that give and receive love, this social butterfly, this person that can talk about anything and everything except about what she really wants, what she really desires, what he really needs. You know, it's that kind of feeling that I'm feeling here. Your mind, body, and spirit are coming through with Venus and Gemini and saying, let's start talking about what you really want to talk about. Maybe you've been talking about what you think other people want to hear or talk about. Maybe someone's waiting for you to be the person that kind of like steps into a room and starts talking about something that they're interested in that they've never talked about with anybody else. But it's like, start talking. It's okay. There is value in the things that you want to connect about with. And if you find that you do have issues with detachments, or you find that you kind of like pull yourself back, or you become aloof and distant from others, like, don't beat yourself up when you find that you are doing that. There's something you can learn about that. You don't have to be serious and dressed, beautiful all the time. You may benefit from pile one. I will say that. So if you felt called to pile one, there is something here you can take from pile one, even because I talked about, the body and being comfortable in your own body, being comfortable expressing your viewpoints, whether you're wearing pajamas or you're wearing a ball gown or a business suit. Be comfortable expressing your needs. Be comfortable expressing how you want to feel beautiful and comfortable in your own environments. Let your mascara run. Let someone else be there to clear it instead of you. You don't have to do everything within this shell. This shell is opening up because there's this pearl inside you that wants to be acknowledged. It wants you to acknowledge that there's something here that you have been creating, how you've been evolving, how you've been taking all the things that have been irritants in your life and you have been washing them and filtering them and only taking what is deserving of your time and energy that has been reciprocal. But experiment with different ways of responding to life. Whether that's changing up a routine, enriching, the way you experiencing things, or when you experience things, if I can, things that bring you pleasure. Like, some people are like, drink some water, and you're like, okay, I'll drink some water, but how can you make drinking water an experience itself? How can you train your mind to see it, entering into your mouth, going down your throat, and then making your cells come alive like they're plants. Imagine the cells of the plants in your body. It's that kind of feeling, but playful taste tests is what is coming through here. You're a beauty with brains. You're a beauty with brains that values structure, that values people who have a sense of purpose, especially in their work. When you find something new and beautiful, share your vision for that object. If there's a conversation that is pleasurable to you, you don't have to hide it, explore it. Observe if you are surrounded by blessings, and observe when you have pessimistic flies that are trying to figure out how to land in on this, but every time they've tried to land, you've closed it. Pessimists do not need to be around your beauty. Otherwise, they create this cloud over here. The house 10, focus on your visible achievements, especially whether it be your body. Like, what are some visible achievements you've made on your body's needs, or when you've started practicing mindful thinking, beautiful thoughts, if you will. Celebrate that. That's an achievement there. Especially if you've noticed in the past, it's like, oh, I could only see the ugly things in my life. And then the instant you start seeing the beautiful things, you start actually looking for the beautiful things. And then that's something you should, feel good about. House 10 wants you to establish your position, your public image, how you present yourself, your goals, the things you're serious about. What mountain do you actually want to climb? Or do you find you are climbing someone else's mountain, someone else's mission? House 10 can be about tough love, kind of like Saturn. And it's time-earned respect. If you have earned respect, if you have did the time and earned someone's respect and they have not been treating you with that, let that be your sign to do something about that, And I'm not saying like take a badge, like a name badge that has like manager on it, or CEO or anything like that, but basically say, I need you to understand that there is a level here that we need to reach. Right now, I am over this task. I am over this group. I am over this project. And this is how it needs to be delegated out. And this is your task that you need to be working on. You have a set task that you need to be working on. These people have tasks that they need to work on. And, make sure that they understand that you are the one that is in control. Always. Especially when you have been on the giving end. You have just as much right to receive what you need. Do not let someone take your authority from you, especially when it concerns your spiritual needs, your heart's needs, your mind's needs, your body's needs. Don't let someone take control of that from you. And this card can also talk about reviewing how your own upbringing has helped or hurt your need for nurturing, or the hardships that you may have experienced. Who carried the father authority in your life? Who actually held that role for you? And if it was a positive influence or if it was a negative influence, and how is it going to shape your body's scaffold? That kind of thing that I was talking about. This card, especially if you do have issues with masculine energy, very beautiful body, beautiful mind. Even if you have a rugged demeanor or rough around the edges, it's still beautiful. But if you find like when you are in an environment, in the instant we have toxic masculinity kind of like coming into the picture, does it make you close up, Or does it make you want to step into your own personal power? That's what we're trying to evolve and grow here, that your body and your mind is really trying to get through here. But this is manifesting energy. This is where you have space for growth. This is where you don't cling to outcomes. This is where you look for change and you listen to your intuition and develop true divine masculine mold, like a true divine masculine mold that doesn't cause your divine feminine energy from being able to express itself. But this house 10 creates the mold for you to be able to hold that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and break down each individual piece of your scaffold, if you will. Let's be curious. All right, so we have in our mind, we have the 4 of Swords with the affirmation, I'm trustworthy. In our body, we have the 2 of Cups with, I'm committed to my goals. And then our heart, we have the 5 of Cups. I am amazing. Let's go ahead and dive into your mind. Your mind needs rest. It needs time to recuperate. It needs time to be able to truly put effort in the things that you do want to focus your mind on. So with the 4 of Cups, we have this woman kind of laying on a bed, and it's like she has this orb kind of like flowing around her. I can almost see somebody with a fidget tool or fidget toy, and it's like a coping mechanism where it's like a pressure squeeze ball, or just like, I don't know, it's like someone playing with like a crystal orb in their hand, and they're just trying to breathe and put some focus on the things that need to be more stable in their life. But you may have all these other things that are on your mind that are kind of contributing to the main thing that you need to focus on here. What could that be? That'll be up to you to decide what are some of the things that are on your mind. Maybe this is a sign that you need to kind of like step away from this main focus that has been draining your energy, has been making you feel a little bit clouded. And I love that the sword is blue, and then I have this right here. But your guides want you to trust what your intelligence tells you. Give your thoughts a break and engage with something that is more deserving of your attention. If you work everyone else's problems or surround others with love and open communication constantly without thinking about your own issues, this is asking you to retreat, so that way you don't feel as if you're going to lash out or cause heartbreak, if you will, because I have the 3 of Swords up here. And this makes me think of the Ace of Swords. There's an opportunity to think about things a little bit more differently. There's a breakthrough that wishes to happen, but it can only happen when you retreat and kind of like go within. Whenever I'm in a social setting or there's a holiday that comes up and I'm around a whole bunch of people, like I crave my silence and my peace. I love my peace. And I used to let people just come over and disregard that peace that I craved. And the instant I started taking that back for myself, the more I honored myself, the more I gave myself the love that I needed. Oh, I found so much value and more beauty in my connections even. Like I was able to return and have even more meaningful conversations. But back to that information that I was talking about, it's like, what is true information to you? What information creates the most turmoil or tries to diminish what you already know? Is it true or is it fiction? Is it an opinion or is it fact? Practice more mindful moments, replacing bad thoughts with positive ones. And there has been many studies done on the mind and how, from cavemen, we're always looking for that threat. We're always looking for that possibility of something being ripped from us, or the possibility that our food or our living well-being is going to be stolen from us, or something is going to come in and take what we have. And it's that repetitive thing. It's like focusing on the negative, or like the last time this happened, or the last time I tried this, or the last time like I tried to open up, or the last time I tried to accomplish something, this happened, this kept happening. And it's like the more you practice bad thinking, the more you surround yourself with bad actions. So focus on the positive, focus on those mindful moments. When you have a bad thought that comes in and says, you look gross, I look gross, change that with, I am beautiful, I'm gorgeous. Or when you say things like, I'm undeserving of having a true, authentic relationship that gives and receives love. I am undeserving. I've had all these heartbreaks in my past that have told me that I am unworthy. People have walked away from me the instant I chose myself. People have walked away from me the instant I told them I couldn't handle the world on my shoulders. I have, it's that cycle that you find yourself going down. But the Two of Cups with the Four Swords, these relationships, these friendships, these people that you have on your mind, do they bring you balance? Do they bring you harmony? Do they make you feel as if you can manifest more in your life? Or do they make you feel as if they deplete things from you? But practice positive thinking. Meditate. Allow yourself to go to the astral plane, to your higher self's realm, so you can have a conversation with the highest good potential that you can possibly be, and then some. Have a conversation one-on-one as you are, who you are right now, and say, what did you have to do to get there? What did you have to do to get to this point where you have the love that you want, where you have the friends that you want, where you have the life, everything that you want, the world that you want? Like, what did you have to do? And it all starts with, going within, taking time for myself, resting when I need to, surrounding myself with things that are beautiful around me. Maybe you like to collect swords or daggers or knives, and, they make you feel stronger. They give you a sense of purpose. They tell you, they speak a story to you. Maybe these are battles you have already won, and you hold them as trophies. What are these battles that you've already won? And what is the battle that you need to focus on now? And how can you use these previous battles to prove that the highest version of yourself, this will be a battle that they have won too. They already have. I'm telling you, you're the best version of yourself in the future has already won this. And they've done it by focusing on their thoughts, what they could trust, and know that they are trustworthy. Know that you are trustworthy. You are a trustworthy person. If someone would dare come in within your relationships and say this person is not trustworthy, maybe you have made mistakes in your life. I know I have. I've made mistakes in my relationships. I've made mistakes from a place of pity, a place of I felt sorry for myself, a place of nothing good was going to come of a relationship I had had. I've made mistakes. And yes, I've done things I regret, but I don't hold those regrets. I don't hold that above my head. I don't hold that above someone else's heads. I don't say that I'm like this because of this. I say I'm learning to be a better person because I didn't enjoy being that form of unauthentic love. but your mind deserves some rest. Even when you have to take time to recuperate, you are still a trustworthy person. People can trust and depend on you, even if you can't spend some time focusing on. It's like if someone says, hey, would you mind painting this for me? And it's like, yeah, I will. There's like no deadline. They're not expecting you to get it done tomorrow. It's whenever you're ready, whenever you can. Communicate and change shifts or plans to stay content. Like if you need to swap a day with someone, maybe a family member, maybe you have children at home, say, hey, do you mind taking this for me? Do you mind helping me with this? Or can you just be with me so that way, I don't feel as if I'm doing this alone. Find those people who want to do this with you. And you don't have to be the one to take control all the time. This card says you have been taking control of certain situations where you've had to be the authority figure. But you don't have to. Find your people, fill your cup, relax on your terms, not someone else's terms. It's like, have you ever been around an adult, if you will? An adult, I'm going to say a toxic masculine kind of an adult, where it's like, I can't sit down until all of this is done. And I can relate to this because my kids, they used to see me constantly cleaning and taking care of the next thing, thinking about tomorrow, the next week, the next month. And, I never gave myself a break. And the instant I started doing that for myself, it's like you can say, oh, wow, mom can actually sit down. Mom can actually have a conversation that isn't about work. Mom can have a conversation that's about all sorts of things, my passions and my hobbies. Give yourself that. Give yourself that. But find your people, guys. Find your people and know that you have a cup that you are responsible for filling and not giving to someone else. Your body, leaning more heavily into the body, is, and I have the card, I am committed to my goals. I'm committed to my goals. I don't let poor relationships come in and prevent me from those goals. I find people who are just as committed to their goals. My body needs to see others committed to themselves, to their own growth, to enabling the things that do and feel and matter to them. Communicate what doesn't make you lose connection to your goals. Communicate, oh, whenever this happens and I see this, it really defeats me. It makes me feel a certain way. Or whenever I see someone who is going through the exact same thing as me and then they do it and they are successful, it lights me up. But communicate with those around you, especially if they are taking advantage of you or not, or if they're so busy looking into what you have in your cup versus what they have in their cup. Like, your body is your own temple. It's what helps you feel balance. It's what's help you feel connection with others, and how you can practice, when you give it love, you receive love. When you treat it good, it treats you good. And when others respect your body, when others treat your body like a temple, just like you do, then those people are deserving to be around your body. And if you are making commitments for a better, healthy body, mind, heart, but are around people who don't self-regulate or emotionally spend their time wisely, you need to be the only one that, or even if, how do I say this? If you're around people who don't spend their time wisely, that don't emotionally regulate, but find that you are the only one that is balanced around everyone, that can add a toll to you. Or when you find that others only get to take care of themselves, but they won't let you take care of yourself. Or call you out when you start to do what is right for you. Or make you feel negative for changing. Back to that negativity for changing who you want to become. The goals you want to strive towards. That life mission. But how many times have I, stopped something because I cared about what other people thought? I don't have enough fingers to count. Fingers and toes to count how many times I've not even persisted because I cared too much about my relationships and how they would feel if I chose to honor myself. People who have, in no regards for themselves, but I've had to regard myself in a different way over time. That sentence was in a format that I couldn't form because it's like, this is a reflection here, guys. Reflecting on what we are worth. If someone is not deserving of being within your temple, don't allow them in it. Because that could be the poison that keeps us in bed, the poison that keeps our thoughts thinking about negative things, negative cycles, or this person said I wasn't deserving of love. This person said that I was just like everyone else before them. This person said I wasn't trustworthy. This person said that I couldn't hold a job, or I couldn't do this, or I couldn't do that. Or this family member said this behind, or this, whatever the case may be. It's like, don't allow someone to hold space in your mind if they're not deserving of it. Your heart space over here, especially with the affirmation, I am amazing. You are amazing when you have to focus on the relationship that has meant the most to you, that has been the most beneficial, that has been reciprocal, that has been the one that brought the most positive change in your life, that has moved you away from toxic habits. The Three of Cups makes me think of like people who maybe take in substances, and you discovered that that wasn't who you needed to be around, that it was going to cause you to lose something that was really important in your life, and your body picked up on that. And it's like, do I want to keep my world? Do I want to keep the people that matter the most in my life? The people that have helped me grow and, reach the clouds. My heart wants everyone to get along. My heart wants the social butterfly of the zodiac over here. It wants to be able to social, and it wants to be able to have a conversation. And these people that only want to have a conversation about one thing, and maybe they don't know how to practice their own mindful movement more, but this one does. This one really helps you grow. This card is asking you to practice. You can have a certain amount of, self-pity in certain instances when you find that you've had to limit your circle down to the point where it's only you and maybe another. And if I'm being honest, this kind of reminds me of a scenario with my sister, her fiance, and a friend that she used to have that brought drama and sabotage and manipulation into the mix, and was constantly putting herself in situations that were unhealthy for her, that she took out on my sister. And my sister, her fiance, does not like drama. He's a Libra. He doesn't like drama, wants peace. And the constant tears, the constant fighting, the constant dilemmas that she had in her friendship that she had since childhood. Just because you've had this friend since your childhood doesn't mean they are deserving of being in your world. If this is for one person and you're resonating with that energy, it's like, if she were to have kept this one friend in her life, she would have lost her fiance. They would have never, he would have never proposed, would have never. And it's not a if you don't get rid of, then I'm leaving. It was, she could sense that her relationship was not going to grow if she allowed herself to stay in this relationship with someone who was constantly turning over people's cups. This was all the relationships that she has lost because of this friend. Your heart doesn't deserve that. And when you find that you lose these people, or you find that you've been in a relationship that you've had a breakup of some kind, and then, or maybe you've lost your career, your job, or the connections that you used to have, or, you know, you used to be really close to somebody, but you're no longer close to them, and but there was a reason for it. You know, don't feel pity for yourself. You are choosing yourself. You are choosing what is right for you. You know, acknowledge that you need to release some emotions out, pour what you need to pour out, but then start drinking what you need to be drinking in, what is good for you. Focus on people who are not unstable or try to make you unstable. People who haven't grown up yet. Maybe you have grown up. Maybe, you know, you had your life planned out for you. You went down a different route. Your route has been the most positive influence on your life. You focused on what you needed to, and then this person went down a different way, different path. It's been very dark for them. Maybe they made you feel bad for making the good choices that you made, the goals that you've had. Maybe they're trying to make you feel bad for having a good life. But don't allow that to sit in. Your heart doesn't deserve that. Be okay if your circle gets smaller. Or if someone is trying to prevent you from developing healthy connections for fear of you leaving them. You know, if someone is scared that you're going to have a better friend than they are, that says a lot. Maybe they should look in the mirror. When your relationships are standing on popsicle sticks and not the ground, take Venus wisdom and take control of who has a pull on your heartstrings. Reset your space, change your feed up. Don't let people who think they have a right to your life keep pulling you back to here, constantly reminding you of the time that you said something, but you said that because you didn't get the time to yourself. You said it out of not having rest, out of not being able to think your thoughts through, out of not being able to, they wanted to fight about it right then and there. Like, this is a card that's talking about the way people treat you in your relationships. Your body is taking the beating. Your body is saying, I need you to find people who will let you do what you need to do, that will let you say, I understand that you're tired. Why don't you go take a nap? And then when you've had rest, you can come back and we can talk about it. So that way you're not, you know, frantically thinking about the moment as if it had just happened right then and there. You can actually de-escalate your nervous system. But I digress, guys. I'm feeling a certain way and I want to pick up a cup for you and pour you all the things that you deserve in your cup that have been taken from you. I feel so, I want to kick these cups away from you, and I want to lift your chin up so you can see the beauty of the relationships that are worthy of your time and energy. Like, I want to be that person that is outside your front door, not letting anybody come in until you've had a full 8 hours of sleep. And people who play loud music, I'll turn their lights off or something, or their electrical. It's like, that's what I'm feeling for you right now, that your body really needs. Trust what you're feeling. Trust where your mind is trying to take you in a positive way. Trust that you are amazing, and trust that you can be committed, that you do have discipline, that you do have talents and gifts. But let me go ahead and pull out the thing that may be blocking you from being able to meet your needs. We have Vulture here. Now, don't be discouraged by seeing this card. Vultures do have an importance in the ecosystem. Now, this vulture is someone that can be very misunderstood when it's under this kind of pressure here. I don't know if you can see this dark energy that is emanating. And oftentimes it's like people may misjudge what you are actually feeling. Maybe others are trying to come up to you. Maybe others are trying not to make you upset, or they're worried that you may react in a certain way. Or even this, I'm seeing this vulture, and the vulture saying, I am not beautiful like the eagle and hawk. I am not beautiful, and I do not have anything to offer. People just think of me and think of death. You know, it's that kind of thing. But the vulture is beautiful. The vulture is gorgeous. The vulture is amazing to be around, because the vulture does the work that no one else will do. You will do the work no one else will do. Your friend, maybe they won't drive for themselves, but you will. Or your partner won't drive for themselves, but you will. Or you make appointments when other people won't, or you are with others when they are in their appointment, so they're not alone. It's that kind of feeling. But this vulture will do what everyone else will not do. It'll get its elbows dirty. I know vultures don't have elbows, but it'll get its talons dirty. It'll get its beak dirty in its work that it knows that is necessary. It cleans up other people's messes. And that's what's blocking you, is you find that you are constantly in a state of conflict where you are constantly cleaning up after other people. People are constantly coming over, maybe partying too much, trashing your house up, and they just think that, oh, it's okay, we could just have it at so-and-so's house. And you're like, you've had it at my house every month, every 3 weeks, at my house, and no one helps me pick up. No one helps me, clean up the house. Maybe you always have holidays at your house and you want to have a holiday at someone else's house. What are you constantly cleaning up? Or when someone comes in and they have a tornado, they get mad and they break things, and I really hope that isn't true, where people are physically taking their aggression out on the environment around them, and you're constantly having to pick up after that. That's not fair to you. That's not fair to anybody. Like, no, when you're mad, go take it somewhere else. Especially if you have things that you find that are valuable, that are beautiful, that you don't want to get broke. And you find that they tend, when they're upset with you, they will find a way to break what it is that you have. And that is, I better not find out about this. Because I have no respect for anyone that would dare find something someone loves and use it against them. And that may be what you're scared of sharing, is the instant you share something that really lights you up, that you really enjoy, that you really love. Maybe you have this person you really like, but you're scared of actually talking about it with someone else because someone else wants to come in and maybe ruin it for you. That's what I'm feeling. But drama, the aggression, this vulture is coming in right now and saying, we got to clean our space. We got to sage. We got to prevent these people coming in, or these energies coming in, these psychic attacks, these emotional vampires that are just draining us of our potential. This vulture is saying, I'm going to work with you on this. We're going to do this together. We're not doing this alone. Spirit's not going to let you do this on your own. But It's hard to make your environment beautiful when people trash it. It's hard to make your heart pure when people poison it. It's hard to make your thoughts calm when people bring storms to it. Now, we're going to look at ways to heal this block to make this easier for you so you can work with this energy. We have review your responsibilities. There is much power in the act of releasing or taking responsibility, as some responsibilities are ours to hold and others are not. Today, review your physical, mental, and emotional responsibilities. If we hold that which we are not meant to, we can be drained. And if we deny that which we are meant to hold, we can become powerless. Review your responsibilities. You're not responsible for regulating someone else. That is their responsibility. And this card is one of the biggest reasons I do what I do, especially with this reading that I'm doing. You know, we are all responsible. And the self-care, self-love oracle, you actually have two. So we have, say to yourself, today you are you. That is truer than true. There's no one alive who is youer than you. And that's a quote by Dr. Seuss. And then the other one is, remember that no one compares to you. Remember that no one compares to you. Don't allow others to compare you. You are yourself. You are your own entity. You are beautiful. You are deserving of love and giving love and receiving love and surrounding yourself with beauty and worthy relationships. You are worthy of peace. My dears, my loves, that is your reading. And I really hope that this is kind of like brought some attention and awareness to, feels like the relationships that are impacting your mind and your body and your ability to really go after the things that light you up. But if you enjoyed this content, one of the best ways to support me is hitting that like button. That way, it lets others know, hey, this is a topic worth exploring. And, comment. Let me know if there's any insights, or maybe you just need to let something out, let it out, and just allow your mind to unwind. And if you know someone that would benefit from this information, you are more than welcome to share it, because sharing is caring. Back to that Care Bear. But I'm going to go ahead and head on over to the other piles. If you are interested in looking into another pile, you are more than welcome to. But I'm going to go ahead and end your reading here, my loves. Bye. Hello, my beautiful pile of threes. Welcome. Let's go ahead and dive into your crystal and your astro energy. But before I do, I just kind of like want to notate the image that this is kind of like creating, because it makes me kind of think of a tree, how you can look at the rings around the tree and you can see how like maybe certain time periods of your life you've had a lot of nurturing, or maybe you didn't and you had to struggle a little bit more, or like you found that it was hard for certain resources in your life to come by, such as sunlight. It makes me think of water. But whenever I was first looking at this, I noticed this small spot that was down here. And it's like something that has been buried within you, that has been deeply rooted, is starting to spill out. And now you're starting to kind of like pick up on it. And it also kind of like makes me think of, how like when you go in for an exam, or like a medical exam, whether they be looking at, your lungs, your heart, maybe your mind, and they kind of like, it's like, oh, we caught something. We caught it early enough, so that way we can do something about it. Now, that may be for a select few. So if you are waiting for some kind of like result, or maybe you've been putting off a health checkup, I encourage you to kind of like, especially if this reading is going to resonate for you, go ahead and get you a checkup. If you are experiencing certain things, maybe you're finding that your memory is not the way it used to be, and you're finding that you're struggling retaining memories, or like you had an outing and it's like you can't remember it, or you're starting to notice like your blood pressure is kind of like all over the place. But that was just a short thing I kind of wanted to like put out there before I read the card. But like, there is something within you that may be going unchecked, and Spirit is wanting me to kind of like put a little bit of emphasis on that for you to go ahead and, check it out. If it's nothing, it's nothing. At least you've got a checkup and you've got peace of mind that you are good, you're in the clear. And the other thing this makes me think of is like when you've got a map, and it's the topography of the map to let you know of the elevations. And this may be the highest elevation that you have currently. And only by kind of like climbing to the top of this can you see like your perspective versus maybe another's perspective, or even like maybe you thought that this problem was the biggest problem that you needed to focus on, and then when you climbed to the top of it and turned, you realized there was a mountain that was much bigger than you anticipated. So think about what that could be for you, and see what the terrain is, and like really plan ahead is what I'm hearing. Plan ahead, but don't become overwhelmed by this energy, especially if you come to find out that it was just something small. It wasn't even something big to worry about. But that's what I'm hearing. Now, let me go ahead and read what this is. So this is agate: stability, grounding, truth. A stabilizing stone, agate is used to balance the mind, body, and spirit, creating harmony in all areas of your life, much like the patterns on the crystal itself, grounding and supportive. Agate helps to reveal inner truths, cleansing beneath the surface to expose your authentic self. A wonderful stone to heal resentment. Agate frees you from the self-imprisonment of inner anger, replacing it with safety and security. Agate takes its time, vibrating at a slow and steady pace, and encourages you to take as much time as you need for the matter at hand, with Mercury being in Gemini. Yes, like if you know there's a battle that's coming up, or if you know that there's something that you need to heal, take as much time, especially if you have this much resentment that is just kind of like pouring out into, your ability to ground yourself, or focus on the things that need your attention. Like, give yourself time, give yourself leeway. And when you notice that you've been giving yourself the time you need, it's like, oh wow, we have this white clear break that's kind of coming through, and it feels good. And then the more you practice it, the thinner these outbursts, or it's like even a volcano, even like, you feel the ground shaking, you feel that there's pressure underneath you or on your shoulders, you can feel it. And you can tell, like, within your own spiritual seismograph, like you can see that there is energy that is being built up, and that if you don't do something to prepare for it now, that it can be devastating. Sometimes it can be devastating on your mind, your brain, and overall your nervous system. So like, this is like, if there was a big wake up call, it's notice to the tremors, the things that are shaking up in your life, and bringing attention to those areas, even if you are recalling resentment, things that you feel deeply about, especially in your dealings with others. It's when people don't, meet your needs, or help you meet your needs, or prevent you from meeting your own needs. It's like, it's that kind of thing that can cause this to become, overbearing, if you will. But I feel like time is precious. Time is valuable to you. Time is everything to you. And the way people spend their time, the way people interact with you, it really matters. And I know this said Gemini and Mercury in Gemini. So this is like, are you distracting yourself with certain things in your life? Are you multitasking or trying to keep your mind busy, but avoiding the things that are making you feel a certain way? Your body is kind of like going through this need for release, and wants you to research what works for you, not being frustrated by the lack of quick results is what I'm getting. It's like, I'm going to do this thing that is good for me, and then like you have a bad spell. I mean, it happens. Like, you can be the best guru at meditation and be calm and mindful, and then when resentment isn't healed, and then you just have like, the sun could be shining, everything is going right for you, and then it's like all of a sudden something sets off and you're like, I thought I was doing good, I thought I had this in check, everything, what is going on? Why am I seeing a relapse? Why am I seeing my results kind of backfire? And rather than being in that state of focused on, oh my God, this must have failed, all of this was BS after all, but it wasn't. What used to be a supernova explosion was actually kind of like a quarrel, if you will. And it's not that you're on the relapse. It's not that you're not doing the things that are necessary for you. It's that, it takes time to develop good, healthy thought patterns. It takes time to rewire your brain. It takes time to move from a mode of constant reaction the instant you feel something. It takes time to be the observer. And oftentimes it's like, it's not your fault. It really isn't. But this card is asking you to focus on things that you may feel resentment towards. Do you feel resentment towards you? Do you feel resentment towards your mind? Because maybe your mind is a lot different. Maybe you have a mind that requires assistance to stay focused. This could be not necessarily talking about like mental health issues, but like if you have ADHD, my brother does. And don't hold resentment for yourself for not being like everyone else, or maybe like when you have a freeze response and having resentment for not being able to take action when you need to. Or what's another one? But don't hold shame for yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Or like when you say this is the last hair strand. I'm sorry, I just noticed this hair was on the table. It's like, this is the last strand, and then it's not. Or, you go through cycles and loops, and your energetic field, like if your energetic field was like this, it was real small, and then you started to expand it, but the core did not have the stability in order to hold this new energy that it has grown into, so it falls back in on itself. I hope these analogies are working. But don't beat yourself up. Stop the thoughts that keep saying, why isn't this working? The doctor said that this would work, or the therapist said this would work. Why is this not working? Ask yourself, what message do you really want to receive? What results do you really want to receive? Are they sustainable? Are they realistic? Have you been unrealistic? Have you been expecting something to be fixed overnight? Garnet wants you to take time. Allow yourself time and room. Give yourself wiggle room for when you have those moments where you can kind of see that you're spiraling, kind of like out of control. But give your time to swing forward and swing back, and just kind of like keep that balance where, if you're in one state of, this is making me think of, oh gosh, people who may struggle with bipolar tendencies. And it's like you are either strongly here or strongly here. There's like no in between. But the more that you're able to manage that balance, so that way you're not strongly up here, strongly over here, like there's no shame in needing extra help. There's no shame in needing extra time. There's no shame in doing what is good for you, what is healthy for you. Others may not understand it. Others may try to, especially those that may not be medicated, they may come in and say, I didn't need that. And then, they make you feel bad for doing what is good for you. But you can prove to them and say, well, I used to be this center of anger and resentment. And the instant I started doing what was good for me, I started to notice I have a life. I have things that are worth my time and energy, and I'm not constantly spent in this focus, this state of mind. I'm having shorter outbursts. I'm having more time out of my mind and everywhere else now, if you get that. But let's go ahead and look into your Astro energy that is here today. And we have Venus in Libra in the 3rd house. And I didn't change my crystals because the last pile had Venus too. So if you felt called to my last reading, then this is your pile. If I can find, where is it? Give yourself patience, give yourself time, give yourself the opportunity to find what balance really means for you and what makes you feel good. But we have Venus giving and receiving love, finding value and seeing beauty in yourself and the things that you wish to surround yourself with. And we have Libra. Libra is considerate. Libra is fair. Libra cares about harmony. And we have House 3, early learning, childhood relationships, the rational mind, and communication. These cards are wanting you to ask yourself, how do you honor your self-love? How do you give yourself love? How do you give yourself balance? Venus wants to show you self-ritual cares that have a place in your life. Your ritual may be different from someone else's. Maybe other people's rituals triggers you. Maybe other people's rituals causes bad relapses. Find the self-care ritual that works for you. Maybe candles are not your thing. Maybe they are. Maybe certain scents make you feel a certain way or make you feel sick. Or, when you have a lot of stimulus going on in your body and your body's like, I need to step away from whatever it is that's touching me. Maybe clothes feel restrictive. It's find what works for you. Surround yourself with things that lower your cortisol. Find the things that really help you relax and please your eyes and ears. Like if certain sounds reach a pitch, or like for me, I have a sound sensitivity, like when it comes to things clanging and crashing. Like when I'm washing dishes, I wash them like a ninja, if you will. It's like if you don't want someone to know you're in the kitchen. And that came from my early childhood because everything I did was observed, was reacted in a negative way. And the less noise I could make, the best. And it affected me in my adulthood. And I knew I needed to do something. And, sometimes you need to, like, if you want to be heard, actually be heard. If you are doing something that does make noise, that is normal, be okay with it making normal noises. Like when, you're washing dishes and the plates, glass plates touch each other and they make that clanging noise. It's like, but surround yourself with things that you do want to hear too. Like maybe, if something is going to be really loud, like when you're mowing the yard, even. That's what I'm hearing. Or you're weed eating, or maybe you have a really loud car and there's nothing you can do about it, but you can put music on. But find music, find the sounds you enjoy listening to. Maybe you like to listen to a thunderstorm. Maybe you like to listen to wind chimes, or birds chirping, or owls even. It's just like your senses need an opportunity to kind of de-escalate. So that way you don't feel triggered or on edge, if you will. But these cards, especially with Venus, this is making a pact to start using your judgment and seeing the gifts and talents that you truly have. Because Venus talks about these gifts and talents you have. Yeah, and back to like earthquakes and stuff, like there are some people out there that are so sensitive and in tune with nature in the environment that if, like, say there was a Richter scale of a level 1 earthquake, other people can't feel it, but you can. You can feel the energies that are around you when you walk into a room, or it's like you can pick up on people's potential outbursts, which makes you feel like you need to be on guard, that you need to protect something, need to protect yourself, need to restore the balance before things get real bad, because it was something you may have learned in your childhood, where picking up on cues, picking up on what makes others distressed, picking up on, certain foods that may cause certain reactions, or you know what I'm talking about. I hope you're getting what I'm talking about. But Venus is going to ask you to reveal what you need in your relationships to feel stable and grounded, to be more independent. And I mean, you need to be able to feel independent. You need to feel as if you are not depending on something or someone. And this is basically coming through of, if someone has been your rock, but they only want you on their rock when it is good for them. They want you to take your own rock. Let's say, here's your rock versus their rock. So that way they understand that your rock is more important, more valuable, more deserving of your time and energy. But see the gifts that you have. See the people that bring out the best in you. Focus on what you can give to yourself, rather than hoping that someone is going to be able to read your body language like you can read other people's body language. If you have difficulties reading your own, pull the mirror out, look yourself in the mirror, and start reading your body language, so that way you can start seeing what the Rosetta Stone of your spirit has been trying to communicate with you in all forms of different languages and pastimes, and you name it. Devote alone time to yourself. Explore that reflection. No ifs, ands, or buts. And start looking at what is beautiful to you. What do you find beautiful about yourself? Really start thinking about it, and make a value notebook entry. Like, anytime you find value in your body, value in your mind, value in the way you feel, put that in a book. Actually write it. I feel I am deserving of balance. I am deserving of harmony, and I am deserving of, spending time to myself, exploring the things that have occurred in my life, and knowing the best way to communicate. I want to communicate with myself and myself to myself. And ask yourself, what are your values in that notebook? What do you value in yourself? What do you value in a good person? What intrigues you? And what impact that you have in the world, and what impact other people have in your life. Is it good? Is it bad? But notice the impact, the positive impact that you have on others. Like, actually notice that you do contribute something. Look at the types of energy you surround yourself with. People are reflections of your self-worth, my dear. How you give yourself love, how you surround other people. So if you don't feel as if you are deserving of the time and attention that you need, and you surround yourself with people who also feel that way, like you don't deserve to have time to yourself, then it's just like, once you start having those personal conversations with yourself and saying, I'm going to put myself first. I'm going to not allow people to constantly come in my life or remind me of certain things that have gone, or constantly bring me back to a place of panic, or bring me back to a place of inconsideration where things were not fair, and there was always trouble, is what I'm hearing. But this is saying, like, I'm going to honor myself and give myself love, and I'm going to surround my people who do the same for themselves. They fill their own cups like I fill mine. It's like, that is what is trying to come through. Give yourself flowers if you enjoy flowers, if you enjoy looking at them. Give yourself a luxury bath. Give yourself a love note. Be very personal with yourself. Give yourself the things you want to hear right now. This is divine feminine energy that is wanting to be explored here. But one of the key things is be willing to share with yourself the love that you want. Be open to others giving you love. Be open to others trying to find ways to express their love. They may not know how to love you when you are in this state. But one of the best things you can do is by stepping away and giving yourself time to regulate, and giving them that opportunity to regulate themselves as well. Like, it has to be equal. And if someone won't let you regulate your whole mind and body, nervous system, this, that, and the other, then that's when you kind of like need to step away and go back to that value that we're talking. Does this person bring value in my life? Does this career bring value in my life? Am I currently bringing myself value? Am I currently growing, or am I dying? It's that kind of thing. If you're not growing, you're dying. And I think that's a quote. I don't know who it comes from, but it's been constantly repeating. If you're not growing, you're dying. But let's dive in to the house 3 a little bit, since it's kind of like weighing in on my mind, especially about, like, the house 3 tells the story of your mentality. It's your primary development years. It's the echo that just keeps echoing into today's present. So think about your early learning and schooling, how you interacted with teachers and other children, how you explored your immediate surroundings, or if you were allowed to explore, because this is going to affect your approach to other adult interactions that you have, and shapes your verbal and physical communication. This is where you have freedom of expression and you feel like you are listened. This is how you maybe have connected with siblings and childhood relations. Like, was it healthy? Was it toxic? Was it, were you set up for success? Find a way to openly voice your beliefs, your ideas, your values, and passions. I know I said something about that value notebook, but journaling would probably be the best thing for you. Having one-on-ones rather than being in front of an audience, but having a place to speak. Maybe there's a story you want to share that you think will help others along their journey. So that way, maybe the condition, or I say conditioning that you may have grown up in, or the way you've had to kind of like rewire yourself. And it's like you've never found anyone that was like you in this kind of field, but you kind of want to bring voice to that. You want to kind of like help bring more balance into the world by sharing your piece, and by sharing, like, a new way of thinking, a new way of doing something. And that in itself is going to inspire others too. Show others how to regulate themselves. Libra weighs things out and considers all the options it has. It doesn't just take one option, and maybe you've only been limited to one, but your guides are saying there is always going to be another option with you, always. There's always, the cosmos is infinite, constantly growing. Libra has a major need for harmony, proportion, and symmetry. It's very sensitive to their surroundings, cares a lot about peace and balance, the justice and the fairness of things at heart. And they explore themselves through relationships. They explore themselves and that could be, you may have wondered why certain people have been in your life, and maybe they have been toxic, but they have showed you a different way. Maybe what you don't want to be. And maybe you have had people in your life that have showed you how you do want to be, how you want to carry yourself. But you can also see, like, when maybe you have been given a diagnosis at a young age, or maybe even in your adulthood, you've been given a diagnosis, and that diagnosis shows up in others in different ways, but you're able to kind of see how it impacts them. Maybe you find someone who really doesn't regulate themselves, who doesn't do anything that they're supposed to, and you can see how out of control that they can be. And then you can find someone who does this, that, and the other, and they're constantly exploring ways to be the best version of themselves, and you get to see a positive impact. But you are able to explore different routes and possibilities. It's like seeing into the future, but in another person's body, if you choose to go down a different path. But this is how Libra forms their shape. They are that dutiful friend. They are considerate. They think of this as like, Libra is coming through and wants you to imagine yourself, your body, as a house of rooms to walk in and close your eyes and feel out each room. You have a room where it is self-care. You have a room that is just work. You have a room that is for your passions, a room for your relationships, a room for your exploration. And focus on the rooms that feel vibrant and bright. Or maybe notice when things are dark or dusty, things that might be empty. And if something needs to be updated or organized, like, what are you going to give to each, and what do you receive when you take care of these rooms? But make your home a reflection of your soul. Chaos, arguments that have no end goal or no resolution are not valued to Libra. Libra brings balance and peace. It does not hold chaos. If you don't want to come up with a solution, or no, not you, but if someone doesn't want to come up with a solution together with you and help fix things for goods, then bye, Felicia. Bye. Sayonara. Like that's not fair to you. Your voice matters, and people shouldn't talk over you, especially if you're having a calm conversation like you are now. Like, it's like I'm having a calm conversation, and it's just this person just keeps they're making their energy bigger, so I feel smaller. So when that comes down to it, the best thing you can do is step away. And until they are in a state where they can have a normal conversation with you, especially if they remind you of someone that you grew up with, that you said, I'm never going to put myself in a situation where I can't be able to talk to someone. It's that kind of thing. I'm sorry, I'm shaking things up. My dears, I'm feeling for you right now. And I really hope, like, if this is resonating for you, that you have a lot of love coming to you right now, and you deserve peace. You deserve to be able to explore all areas of your spirit's home and feel love and passion for it. But let's dive into each of your mind, body, and heart's needs right now. So your mind, we have the Tower with I am inspiring. And I love that this is kind of coming through as like, I am inspiring the towers that need to happen in my life. My thoughts are creating the triggers that need to happen to reveal the areas in which my life I am not stable in, or the people who make my tower unstable. Because it looks as if it's like someone has been digging under the burrows. It's that earthquake I keep talking about, guys. Because look, it looks like a tremor. Or like when the earth opens up and the buildings are kind of like falling and crashing around. And it's like, who has been in your home? Who has been in your tower that did not belong in your tower? Who has been stealing your inspiration? Who has been creating these chaotic environments around you? But we have the Tower here. I didn't mean to go ahead and dive into that, but I wanted to go ahead and reveal the rest of the cards. And then in your body, we have the Two of Cups. Now, the second pile had the Two of Cups as well. And you may feel kind of called because I did have Venus in the previous pile as well. So if you felt called to pile 2, that could be another clarifications. And we have I am inspirational. I am inspirational. We have I am inspiring. I am inspirational. And then for your heart, we have the Queen of Wands stepping in her authenticity, unashamed of herself, and in touch with her shadow side. With I am valuable. I heard my shadow is valuable. The shadow I walk in is just as valuable as the light that I carry. That's what I just heard. So here's the Tower. This Tower will come when it is necessary. It's almost like it'll catch you off guard. And this may be, maybe if you had not been taking control of your thoughts, and maybe you have been doing other things that have been distracting you, that you've been doing, everything but focusing on the thing that needs the most attention. And then out of nowhere, it hits. This could be a breakup. This could be a divorce. This could be, a career that ends abruptly. This could be an action that goes unchecked, that sets the ball rolling and causes all the dominoes to fall. This is where your mind gets to do what it wants unchecked and causes the most damage. This Tower has a warning bell in place for you that your body and your heart can pick up on. It's just a matter of picking up on those cues. Maybe focus on, I just heard a food journal, food diary. Notice what you're eating. Notice when you're drinking fluids that you should. Notice when you're getting a good night's sleep. Notice when you are checking in with your dreams and seeing what these Tower moments are having. And these Tower moments make me think of PTSD. When you grow up in an environment, and you don't need, this can be, you can get PTSD from your childhood, you can get PTSD from your workplace, from your relationships, from constantly being in a state of overwhelm and not being able to wind yourself down. You're constantly in a state of panic because you were induced to that constant state of fight, flight, or freeze. So your mind, when it goes constantly back to those memories, or when it constantly goes back to things that may have occurred that your body is picking up right now, because your body is going to, you may have done all the healing necessary, but your body remembers. It holds the score. And there is a good book out there that talks about this, and I cannot think of what it is. But if you know what I'm talking about, or if you haven't read it, there's like The Body Keeps the Score. I recommend looking it up, giving it an opportunity. Or, if you don't like reading, then let it play in the background where you can just listen to the person reading the book. But the warning bells are there for a reason. Do not cut the warning bell out of your tower. Where do you find you crumble the most? Under pressure, especially in your waking life. Like, where do you find you have the most pressure that causes you to crumble? Is it getting up, getting out of bed? Maybe you don't, you expect to have like a morning job, but your body says, I'm not a morning person. So you opt in for an evening style because it gives your body time to wake up and regulate itself. Or maybe you're not either of those. You're a night owl because being in the daylight, it's just you'd rather be under the night. There's no shame in that. But listen to your body. Notice when things are really good for you, so that way you can repeat the good feeling, the good thoughts. If it's observable, then you can actually do something with it. And I don't know if you are a cat person, but the Queen of Wands is coming through, and I never thought that I would learn not just about my own cats, but I learned a little bit about humans too. If you heard of the show My Cat from Hell with Jackson Galaxy, I found myself binging while I was sick, watching My Cat from Hell, and I developed a better relationship with both my cats. And now they went from fighting with each other all the time to actually playing with each other. And then I took what he was saying in it, and it's like, it's people too. Actions can be observable, and then we can do something to either enhance our life or, take it a different way. But right now, there's something within you that is creating this inspiration that is cracking down and helping you focus on the things that are either supporting you or limiting you. And when you discover new pieces of information or those lightning strikes, how can you effectively process it so it doesn't cause all the warning bells to go off in your body? Or it's like when your warning system is constantly going off for no reason. It's like having a car alarm that's broke and you just hear the sirens going off, or your fire alarm detector when you don't replace the batteries and you just hear that loud chirpy noise, and then it just sits with you and it doesn't let you sleep, and it's constantly there, and you know that if you don't replace the batteries, if there's a fire, then you won't be able to get out in time. It's that kind of thing. But think about how you process those lightning bolts, or when you get new information, or when your body sends you a signal, or when your heart tells you something. This card is saying something is ending with divine intervention, and it's letting the false sense of security that was built fall so you can rebuild a better sense of security for yourself. It's like, think of the three little pigs. You have one that has a house of straws, you have one that has a house of wood, and one that has a house of brick. And right now, your straw is on fire, but you're given an opportunity to rebuild it with something better, rebuild it with different people, rebuild it with a different career, rebuild it in however you feel it will help you stay inspired. But your mind wants to retrain itself so it can feel safe and secure. What feels ugly right now in your life? What feels painful? How can you Give your nervous system a reset with constant support and guidance, with constant check-ins. It's okay if you have to check in more than others. It's okay. I am letting you know it is okay from personal experience to constantly check in when you need to. But utilize your senses to let you know. The body with the Two of Cups and I am inspirational, it's a need for mutual respect for your body. It's to have a relationship between your body and self that is loving and reciprocal. I already said that, but reciprocation is important here. It's to not let others take advantage of your most basic needs. If your needs were denied early in life, you need to give yourself the opportunity to relearn the positive way to honor your needs, to be the parent that you need right now. This is to stop putting blinders up. I don't know if you can see that they have blindfolds on their face. They are the two exact same individuals. So this card is a reflection of itself. It is you and you with a blinder on you and you. It's like, you know, you are tied to each other. You can feel the link. You know that there is a presence here that needs to be acquainted with, is what I heard. This makes me think of shadow work, shadow selves. And if you've never explored your shadow self, I encourage you to start now, because it does have value. And you can work with your shadow, with your light. But the blinders need to come down, and you need to come to a ceasefire with yourself. And maybe you have kept things on a close leash in order to feel good, especially in your relationships. It's like the instant someone, it's like that independence is coming through that I need to talk about. If someone leaves the room, do you start to feel anxious? Do people feel as if they can step up and stretch their legs? Do you feel like you can do that? Can you stand up? Or do people, depend on you so much, and it's almost like you are their service animal? And if you don't have a service animal or an animal that brings you safety and comfort, that enjoys seeing you no matter what state you are in, like, I encourage maybe having there's no shame in it, but maybe a dog, a goldfish, a bird, whatever the case may be, something that is there with you so that way you don't feel alone, as if you are going through this battle by yourself. But find the links your body uses to speak. Tired eyes, paleness in your skin, when you start to feel shaky because you haven't eaten anything, when you start to feel restless and you got the jitters and your leg is bouncing because of your nervousness, or just like notice nervous body tics. My son, when we moved down here, I didn't realize how much it kind of like made him very anxious. And he started walking around the house like snapping his hands whenever he'd walk. And I noticed it, and I'm like, why are you snapping your hands? And Brennan's like, you don't have to let us know whenever you enter a room with your snaps. But it's a nervous tic. Or teachers, whenever they have the Sharpie, I remember my drama teacher had a nervous tic whenever she'd be out in front of her class, and she had to go and relearn a habit that she had, where she would take the lid and pop it and then unpop the marker and then pop the marker and then unpop it, and it was becoming a distraction. But like, notice like these certain things that you do, or even like open up with a partner that will not judge you and say, have you noticed anything that I may do? And whatever they tell you that you do, that they have observed, if you have difficulty observing, don't take it wrong. Like if you notice that, like when you're in doctor's offices and your legs are bouncing, or like when you know that you have to have a vaccine or a shot, and then you notice like you have an aversion to needles and you sweat, and it's like, just notice. Or eye contact, even if you struggle with eye contact, maybe you look at the ground because that's what you've been taught to do. Like it's like but your body needs you to explore ways in which you can have healthy dominance versus constant submission. If you're constantly submitting to others and allowing people to dominate over what your body needs, is what I'm getting. And if you did pick up a habit from another person, especially early on in life, just reinforce why this isn't a healthy habit. My husband, he chews his fingernails, and that's a nervous tick too. But I'm hearing your body would benefit greatly, and your mind, by giving yourself like positive hypnotherapy, is what I'm hearing too. Like I feel like that would benefit greatly. But I cannot give professional advice. I can only share from personal experiences and things that may help. The solfeggio meditation scale may be really good for you as well. That's something that I've done in my own personal time, and practicing with different frequencies, and knowing how the frequencies help my body and my mind, things like that. But drink some water. Drink what you need that is necessary to be served to you. Do not settle for less. If a menu only serves alcoholic drinks and you know that that isn't good for you because of a rare condition you may have, or if you go to a restaurant and you have a rare condition where you cannot eat meats, it makes me think of, I live in the South where ticks are, and it's possible to get that condition where you can't eat meat. Or maybe you are, what is the dairy one where you just can't eat dairy? It's like, do not settle for less. Do not let someone tell you that you can get over a condition you have, or if you're gluten intolerant. Like it's like that. Like, don't let someone tell you what your body needs because they have a different body than you. Like, do what is good for you. Your chakra root needs more emphasis, especially with this tower coming through. Research grounding methods like walking in nature, yoga, meditation. It's that kind of thing that I'm getting for this reading. Now, your heart space with the Queen of Wands, you are valuable. The diagnosis, the things that you have been told you are, anything that may have been a setback or has caused you to have to work a little bit harder, has been very inspirational to those who have been in the exact same shoes as you, and you do hold value. And split personality disorder, and then I heard schizophrenia is one. Like, there are people that do have these conditions in life, and those conditions do not make them less valuable. They do not make them undeserving of being in the public. These are symptoms, these are things that can be managed with the right treatment, the right help, and the right environment. But you are valuable even with all of this, and you are valuable because the Queen of Wands is courageous and confident and determined to still be able to go after what her heart wants. She craves independence. She craves not having fear and not, because she's courageous, she does not allow herself to be in a state of fear and is very clear about the path that she wants to walk. She may be intimidating to others, but she is inspiring at the same time. And in order to keep your heart healthy, don't stop yourself from having healthy relationships, from experiencing life and having different experiences. If your heart isn't in it, your mind won't either. Even when she has 2 stones, she had this tower moment, and now she just has these 2 stones that she is standing on. She still has the power, all the power in her hands to make the decisions that she wants in her life. She still creates value when she has these tower moments. And there is a quote that I wrote down that was from one of my books about the Queen of Wands. And it's by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who is a poet and philosopher. And it says, "Enthusiasm is one of the most powerful engines of success. When you do a thing, do it with all your might. Put your whole soul into it. Stamp it with your own personality. Be active, be energetic, be enthusiastic, and nothing great and faithful, and you will accomplish your objective. Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm." Be enthusiastic, be positive, be on the lookout for the good things, the things you can observe, the ways in which you can make changes. But the Queen explores her shadow self regularly and embodies it. The next thing we're going to kind of look at is some of the blocks that may be preventing you from meeting your needs. We have the bear and the nightingale. I love these images and the colors that are kind of coming through because it makes me think of this rainbow effect of meeting our chakras needs one step at a time, taking as long as we need. The bear tends to, when it's imbalanced, it withdraws. It becomes very lethargic and heavy, and it avoids making moves. It's like it thinks, well, I'm too tired, and so I sleep some more, but I'm sleeping some more because I've got all of these thoughts in my head that are going on, and I have to sleep so much because I can't wind down quick enough. It takes me an hour to fall asleep. Maybe you have insomnia. But the bear knows when its best seasons are to perform. It knows why it needs to hibernate. It knows why it needs to retreat when nature, starts to sleep. It recognizes when nature sleeps. And when nature sleeps, it knows that this is a time to nurture oneself. Bear cares a lot about growth. It knows that if it stays in the cave, not only in wintertime, but in springtime, it misses the opportunity to recharge its energy and be able to connect with other bears, be able to go out in an environment and talk to other people. Bear is in this cave right now by itself. Things are dark. Bear has something it wishes to sing. Bear has something it wishes to say. Bear is lost in its thoughts. Bear wants to be able to connect again. But in order to do so, bear needs to know that it needs to take care of itself. The nightingale. It's almost like being a sitting duck, but not a duck. It's like in the wrong environment, the wrong place, the wrong time constantly, and finding itself in a position where it cannot openly speak. It's where it finds it's shy and it retreats. It's where you have a lump in your throat, a lump in your thoughts. It's when it's hushed, it is prevented from saying what needs to be said. It's the kind of energy where you don't allow yourself to be heard. Like you don't even allow yourself to talk to yourself. It's like no one gave you the opportunity to voice yourself. And now that you're having a conversation with yourself, how do you feel? Is it your voice or is it someone else's voice in your head? Is it the inner critic? Is it self-sabotaging thoughts, self-sabotaging behaviors? Is it other people using manipulative behaviors in order to put you in your cave? But the bright side to this is the sun is coming out. Light is being cascaded on this nightingale. And now this nightingale has the room in order to speak to Bear that has been sleeping. And Bear now has a person to talk to. And these two energies, and this could be someone that you are very close to in your life that has provided this for you. And your guides want you to focus on this person that gives you that sense of security that you need, protecting each other. Nightingale has perceptions that Bear may not be able to see, and by talking to each other, they're able to come up with a resolution on how to help each other. Bear has its shadow sides just as the nightingale has its shadow sides. But when we allow each other to speak, either to someone that needs to be spoken to or to ourselves, like this provides that light that is needed. One of the advice the Spirit has to help heal this block is find your haven. You are in need of a hideaway, a little piece of magic that is just for you. Remember that what it felt like to find a hidden place, one that hummed with its own special kind of energy. Begin to think about where you might connect with this energy as an adult, what it might feel and look like now. Take steps today to create or find this place. Those rooms I was talking about, find your castle, find your haven, find your palace where you are allowed to roam free, where you are not restricted, where you are allowed to go alone and retreat and be independent and give yourself the things that you need. And your self-love, self-care oracle is, you are unique. Own it. You are unique. You are unique. It's okay if you have to do things a little bit different than everyone else. It's okay if you have to take different roads. It's okay if you have to take longer breaths. It's okay if you have to do different wind down rituals. It's okay, guys. And that's what Spirit wants to say is it is okay. Take as much time as you need in your personal haven. But don't close up on yourself. You still need to move. You still need to be able to voice your needs and your concerns and, speak your whole truth. But that is your reading, my loves, and I hope and pray that, who I am reaching out to, that tonight you get some peace and quiet and you're able to take care of yourself and tap into your shadow self. And if you enjoyed this reading, one of the best ways to support me is by liking and commenting and letting me know if, this has been inspirational for you as it has been for me by kind of like tapping into this energy. And if you know someone that would benefit greatly from this, I encourage sharing. Sharing is caring. And if you want to jump into another pile, you are more than welcome to. But I'm going to go ahead and end it here, guys. I hope you'll have a blessed day. Hello, my pile fours, and welcome, 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 welcome. And if my voice sounds a little raspy, just know it'll be okay. We're going to get there. Now, this is a very interesting crystal, but whenever I was originally kind of like looking at it, it makes me think of like a mirror, or kind of like when you're looking inside a mirror and you can kind of see almost like ancient bones or something that is being uncovered, if you will. Let me see if I can kind of like look at it. It's like when you're like in archaeology, like when you're dusting something off and you notice, oh, I found something. There's something here. There's a body here. And it's just like, I need to uncover this, like uncover this past that has been kind of like stuck and hasn't made its appearance yet. And the other thing it kind of reminds me of is like when you're in an airplane and you're looking out the window and you can kind of see this island that's at the bottom or below the plane. And it's like when I think of islands, it's like islands that are together. They're separated, yes, but they are still part of the same, land mass formation. They're still, surfacing and peeking out from below. And it's not unless like you're above the sky that you can see how connected they are to each other. But let me go ahead and read the card before I get too into it. But that's kind of like what it makes me think of, is like we're uncovering something together and we're looking at how things are pieced and formed. Maybe there are certain body parts that aren't actually a part of this island. Maybe this is something that came from another continent, if you will. But this is golden and hydroherkimer. This is sunshine, vitality, and joy. Containing floating gold liquid, gold and hydroherkimer is named after the oil suspended within the crystal. Rare and possessing wisdom from the Himalayas, where it is found, this stone stimulates the third eye and enhances intuition and connection to the universe. Golden and hydroherkimer promotes gender fluidity and acceptance, assisting in transitions and connecting with one's gender or healing wounds. Strongly tied to the solar plexus, golden and hydroherkimer can clear out emotional baggage from many lifetimes. Live out loud and proud with Sun in Sagittarius. Wear and pair, gender. Oh, okay. Gender neutral. So this is like, if you resonate with this, it's like you probably feel very comfortable wearing whatever you want. And if you don't, then your guides are wanting you to find ways in which you can feel comfortable wearing whatever you want. Maybe you have, you see how some people wear certain things and you're like, oh, that's not for me. But truly, it's not about, it's about having that sense of state where you can feel comfortable in your body, comfortable in your own skin, and comfortable with, what brings you joy. Wear what you want and wear it proudly. And be okay if you want to, wear things that are considered to be only males or only specific to a specific group type, if you will. This makes me think of, how people do certain hairstyles and they're like, oh, that hairstyle only belongs to that group. No, it doesn't. You have hair on your head. How you style your hair is how you want to style it. That is totally up to you. And if you're someone that doesn't wear heels, but you've decided I kind of would like to wear heels because I'd like to stand taller, but only women wear heels. It's like, no, like men are the ones that created heels, I believe. And it's like, it's okay. Explore your clothing. Explore what makes you feel good is what I'm hearing. And I know this is about mind, body, and spirit, but your spirit wants you to not limit yourself to one group, one type, one aspect. You are multidimensional and should be able to express that. And this also goes into talking about like certain fields that may be dominated by one gender, doctors and nurses, and thinking of teachers, or oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank here, but who do you imagine would fly an airplane? Like, who would you imagine to be there? Or when we are going to war with something, who do you picture would be the gender at the front of the helm? It's captain of the ship. It's like gender has no, the only thing it is doing is limiting you when you allow it to limit you, when you allow it to prevent you from exploring all different fields and wakes. Just because you don't see a version of yourself out there in that field doesn't mean that there isn't. And if there isn't a version of you out there in that field, then this is asking you to be the pioneer, be the Sagittarius that is basically going on this adventure and being optimistic every bit of the way. But, honoring that self, honoring, because Sagittarius makes me think of some of the most luckiest people actually believe that luck is on your side when you embrace the unknown. But this card is asking you to connect with your gender without shame or refusing how your body transitions. This is someone who is going through transitions or may have had, in the early years of your life, especially during puberty, you may have felt a certain way about your body, or maybe you, like, the love that you have for a gender may be not, it's like I'm hearing, I'm not allowed to love that. I'm not allowed to love who I want to love. I'm not allowed to wear what I want to wear. I'm not allowed to feel what I'm allowed to feel because I have been told that my gender is not allowed to feel or do or say or, all those things. It's like the limitations have been put on you. And this card is like, it's like there's shame here. There's this need to kind of like break out of your own skin and shed the layers that need to be shed. It's flying above that island and seeing what separates you from all the other islands and noticing like what bridges are keeping you connected versus what needs to be kind of like burned, if you will. Like, because anyone that tries to put you down for the love that you have for another is not a bridge worth standing on with another. Like, those people need to go somewhere else. So that way you can continue to live a life that has so much passion and you feel life again. But this is the optimistic exploration of self, where you connect the trips that you take within. Now I'm going to go ahead and dive into your Astro, your Astro checks too. So we have Mercury, which thinking, learning, networking, how you communicate with others. We have it in Gemini, which I believe is, I could be wrong, but I think it is the home of Mercury too. But curiosity, it's your intellect, it's your networking. So it's like you are learning how to think more differently. You're learning something new and you're finding ways to communicate with your body. You're finding ways to communicate with your mind and finding ways to open up to others that are just like you. And even if there are people that are not like you, being able to agree to disagree, being able to Be proud of who you are. And we have it in house 4. This is culture and family roots. This is home, peace, and comfort. But diving into Mercury, Mercury wants you to pay attention to ideas that help inspire and bring messages close to home. That, this could be things that you want to read, things that you actually want to respond to. Your senses are how you receive messages and how your body, mind, and heart utilize that information. Your subconscious is constantly going to bring you cues to communicate these messages even as well. So if your channel is not turned on, it's time to turn the radio on. It's time to see what is static in your life and where the clear signal is. The signal that was meant to reach you personally. Mercury also asks you to carefully consider how you respond or connect to others. But fuel networking and have unemotional meetings of the mind. Like actually check in with what your thoughts are saying. But don't attach an emotion to them. At least not yet. Not until you've kind of like seen where they have come from. Like whenever I was a child, I had a sibling that was very, very insecure. They were a lot older than me. And when I was in kindergarten or pre-K, I used to wear skirts and dresses all the time because they basically said that when I would wear pants, it made my legs look really big. And that was like, they cared a lot about their appearance, and that was projected onto me. So I wore skirts and dresses for a long time. And then eventually, when I was in the 2nd grade, I started wearing pants and shorts because, you can't really kick a ball or do a lot of the activities that you would normally do out, playing in PE or, with the other kids if you're constantly having to worry about your dress blowing up in the wind and everybody seeing your underwear. So it's like I made that compromise with myself. Like it would be better that everybody thought my legs were big rather than seeing my underwear. It's like, I know that's a weird kind of connection that just kind of came up, but justify why you wear what you wear, but wear it because you want to. If you, oh goodness, I'm trying to think. If you're someone that, I think of like a tomboy. If you were a tomboy, you didn't like painting your nails, you didn't like doing the facials like everybody else did, or having the slumber parties, you like being out in nature, think that's just an example, but this is like you're doing something that is opposite than what other people would have been doing during your time period, and there's nothing wrong with that. You enjoy what you enjoy because you enjoy it. Gemini is going to help you learn and explore any and all topics that pique your interest. It's going to help you with developing strong communication skills and, just be able to have a conversation. Gemini wants to help you seek new experiences while multitasking. That way, when you're hung up or you're stuck up on something, you have another outlet. You have something else that you can, put your attention and time into. That way you're not constantly thinking about something that may have occurred that has been eating at your mind and, has been taking your floating gold away from you. You may find that you're peeking into all sorts of different hobbies, these interests. You're kind of exploring all different personality types. You're not limiting yourself to one personality. You may find that you come across someone that has so many tattoos all over their body, and you're like, wow, that looks really cool. Or you may find, and that could be another form of stereotype. I feel like you have been dealing with stereotypes your whole life, and you're at the point where you're done being stereotyped. Like, tattoos do not make you a bad person. Wearing opposite gender clothes does not make you a bad person. What matters is who you are as a person, and that's what you're trying to get across here, and that can be very hard at times. But your spirits are wanting you to share what you accumulate. Share what you are accumulating when you are restless or when you find that things are getting a little too much for you. Like, share it, share the load. Detach when you have absorbed way too much. Like, find ways to detach. This is like, Gemini is the social butterfly of the zodiac, and this is making me think of a butterfly that has just filled their bellies up to the brim with stuff that does not help it fly and just keeps it on the ground. And the butterfly was meant to fly and go wherever it wants to, evolve and transform and metamorphosize in any direction it wants. And that was what you were meant to do. You were meant to transform and constantly change and grow. But these cards, especially with Gemini, they're wanting you to let life pass through you with, and I said this in another pile, but playful taste test. I think I said this in pile 1. But allow yourself to respond differently if you feel like you need to. The 4th house, if I'm going to go ahead and go into it, if I know I held up 8 fingers, but the 4th house is your sense of security and the influence of your childhood home. It's the home of Cancer. It's the home of moon energy, tribal energy. It's where you feel comfortable as an adult at home. And it's where you find your soul's home. These are like how you experience the experience of your parents, especially mother energy. Was it safe and nurturing or unstable and conditioned? Like, if you had a parent that said, I'm not going to love you unless you change the way you look, or people are not going to accept us as a family if you go and show up as this, or what would the town think? It's like, it's that kind of energy. Is like, think about whether it was safe and nurturing. But the 4th house is asking you to think about where you feel the most vulnerable, what you crave, what is currently consistent in your life. What are your most basic needs that you need right now? And consider the people whose presence help you feel at peace and home and who are a part of your tribe. And sometimes your tribe won't be blood. It'll be who allows you to grow, who allows you to fly, who allows you to embody whatever you want to embody. But I'm going to go ahead and dive into what each specific need needs now. But those are some good questions that your guides are wanting you to kind of explore, kind of dig up, if you will, is really get down to the roots of things. And, I just heard evolution does not care about if you have 10 fingers. Evolution does not care if you have all your hair. Evolution only cares about what it can pass down with another, whether that be, information, even knowledge, experience, back to that Gemini energy, curiosity. Maybe one day we'll evolve and we'll all be blue rainbow people. You never know. But so the mind, we have the devil. with the affirmation, I am fearless. In the body, we have the Knight of Swords. And we have, I am in the flow. And then our heart, we have death with, I'm fabulous. It kind of makes me laugh whenever I see the death smiling and it says, I'm fabulous. Yes. Yes, you are. So the devil, your mind right now has certain habits or attachments or regulating coping mechanisms that you have, and your mind is wanting you to explore any self-sabotaging behavior you may have. Like, understand why you want to change or explore a different road. Your mind needs to not feel guilty when it does the dance, when it explores something. When someone tells you that what you're doing is wrong and is stupid, and then you do the dance anyways, was it positive or was it not? Or like, without shame for your past even. It's like, don't hold shame for your past. Don't hold resentment for your past. But like, acknowledge that, whatever you do, it's not going to chain you. Like, this is a chain that can be broken. And if you hear coughing, that is my husband in the background, by the way. But notice what has a hold on you, and know that you can take the collar off at any point if you wish. And with the devil here, it's really asking you, where does your mind feel the most restricted? Thoughts that need more discipline. And with Capricorn energy, it's pushing you to look at the scaffold that you structure your ideas with. Like wanting to feel free to make choices, knowing and embracing your whole self, hiding, like if you're hiding personalities or hiding a part of you from others or a part of your character, or hiding your needs even. Like, this is what it's wanting you to kind of explore. Do you know what you need? Do you give yourself what you need, or do you avoid it and give yourself what you don't need? It's that kind of thing that is going on here with your mind. This is a self-improving energy kind of card. Like, your mind wants to go ahead and go through some form of self-improvement and look at things that may jeopardize your home, your base, and your own sense of security. Asking yourself, what isn't good for me right now? What do I consider is a vice? What is bad indulgence? And how can I explore my shadow side and work alongside it so it doesn't take control of the things that are around me? But the devil here, it's not a bad thing. And if you are someone that has been neglecting your desires and haven't explored your own personal desires, this is a good opportunity to find the right people, or the right relationship is what I'm hearing, with your body, with another person, and be in a trusting environment where you do feel comfortable and at peace is what I'm hearing. Your mind is like the devil on the shoulder is what I'm hearing. Oh my goodness. And I just had this image of, like, you may have had a devil on your shoulder, and then there's this sword right here, and you started swinging it, causing all the birds to fly. And now your body is saying, once we understand what is no longer serving our highest good, then we can be in that state of flow here. This Knight of Swords is very gender fluid. You cannot tell if it is a man or a woman. And I love that for your pile. They almost look like they're playing softball, but look at the determined look on their face. The wind is not covering their eyes. They are very certain about the direction in which they may go. Their sword is pointed behind them. But this is an energy that is giving way to potential adventure. There is a mission here that this knight is determined to progress towards. This knight is going to bring awareness to things that may be of excess in your life, such as the things that are having dance parties in your mind, if you will, the way your thoughts may be running rampant. But the knight says, I can pick up a sword if I need to descend my ideas and pursue them. Descend? Did I really? Oh my goodness, descend. So, oh, wow. Okay. So mind, body, your thoughts are in your mind and you were able to bring them down. And, when your mind throws you a curveball, are you ready for that curveball? Or if your mind throws you what is it called? A dirty shot, or dirty throw, where, the intention is to hurt the body, if you will. And I have much love and space for you right now. And your mind should not cause you to hurt yourself. But your body wants you to be prepared for when this does happen and be ready for anything and everything that it tries to throw at you. Be clever like the crow to meet your needs. And back to my pre-K, and it's strange, like the memories that I have that grow up. And I remember the story about this crow that our teachers told us about being clever and being able to be resourceful when you need to be, when you have limitations in your field. And there was this crow that during a severe drought was desperately needing water. It was going to die without water. And it stumbled across this jar that had water at the very bottom of it. So it was a jar about this big, but the water was at the bottom. And the crow pecked and tried, but it couldn't put its head in the jar, couldn't find a way to get the water out from the bottom. And then it noticed that there were these rocks that were by, and it knows that when you drop something in water, it causes the level to rise. And the crow started putting these pebbles inside this jar. And the more persistent it was, no matter how big the stone was, it was able to put it in the jar. Eventually, it was able to get the water to the top where it could drink it. And I feel like that is your case here. Knowing what stones that will help you be able to drink what it is that your body needs in this moment. Being resourceful, being curious. Rather than getting frustrated and allowing like the devil anger come out and breaking the jar, causing the water to spill all the way out, you were able to, in the moment, become determined, but not allow your energy really take control. You're able to do something with it. The Knight of Swords wants you to be honest and forceful with truth. Challenge your limits and see how you can progress further. If your body wants something, how do you get it, or how do you reward it? This makes me think of short-term surges or high-intensity exercises would probably benefit you. If you're someone that's like, I can't do an hour's worth of exercise, I am that person. I have to do it in breaks. Maybe you have to break it down into 15-minute, sessions, or, 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening. And, it's that kind of like honoring your body, and then still giving it what it needs. But high intensity exercise, it's short, intense, and you get the workout, but it's not as long. But, not all exercises will work for others. I cannot give professional advice. I can only share like personal experiences, and if there's anything that comes into the inside of spirit. But look at that determined look, guys. Like, they are in the essence of their flow. They are looking and ready for any body warning signal that may come. They already know that it's something that's been in their mind. Now they're getting their body ready for it. Now over here in death, we have, oh my goodness, I just heard, I'd rather wear my bones than another's. I'd rather wear what I want than someone else's. You know, maybe there's a clothing style out there, or I keep going back to appearance and what you wear, but maybe there's something out there that hasn't been made yet that you were exploring. Maybe your own personal attire, if I can speak. But death in your heart space is asking you to review the relationships, or review the relationship connections that need to be transformed or disconnected. Why did certain people end things with you? Why did they begin things with you? Was it because you went through a transformation, because you did a rebirth? But don't give them only the side they want to see. You should be able to express all sides and versions of yourself. Death can come through whenever your heart is asking for like a personal makeover, inside out calibration, if you will. You know, a change in your overlook, your values, priorities, behaviors. If you want to feel different, this card will set the changes necessary to accomplish this. All it's asking is for you to open your heart space up for new beginnings. Go with the flow. Evolve without resistance. This is powerful life cycles. It's like when something ends, something begins. And pile one had the world card, and it made me think of when something ends, something is beginning, and, you know, being ready to step into that new chapter. Maybe you start out as you are and you're in that, you know, making me think of video games where either you have all the equipment and all the necessary things that you need, or you start a game and you have just the bones that you were walking with. Scorpio in this card has a fearless and objective gaze and doesn't shrink in the face of danger or darkness. It fears nothing and no one, so long as it knows who it has a place to be perched on. And I love, like, you know how when I was talking about this bird, or the conscious, it's like the Jiminy Cricket in your mind. It's like, who has a right to say what you're allowed to do? And then over here we have the scorpion on this death shoulder. It's like the constant, my heart wants to go through purges. My heart wants to be able to release what it needs to release. My heart needs to be able to explore itself if it wants to have a safe and secure place where it feels comfortable. It knows that feelings are temporary, and it acknowledges them. That is what this heart says. It knows feelings are temporary. That's why when you are looking at your mind, you are not placing an emotion on it. You're not making yourself feel terrible for the things that you think, or the people that you love, or the people you want to pursue, or the image that you want your body to be in. But your heart is wanting you to explore any kind of deep secret that you may have, and how it impacts your mind and plays how the devil thinks with you in this case. So whatever secrets or anything that needs to be put to rest, things that you may be holding on to, whatever that may be, whatever is the devil running around in your mind, don't give it any more control or power. Actually put it to rest and say you're not going to allow it to represent you any longer. But let me go ahead and look at what may be blocking you from meeting your needs. I really feel like this is for someone that needs to feel really good about the skin that they have, to feel good in their own body, to feel good in their bones, and to be able to explore your own self-image and feel power. But I have the spider and peacock over here, and y'all have 2 blocks. With the spider being a block over here, it's when you feel discouraged, tired, or like things are distant and heavy at the same time. And there is a need for process orientation rather than results orientation. And I've probably said this in every single one of my piles. It's don't focus on the results. Focus on the process, the way you feel. If something makes you feel good, like honor it, actually explore it. Why did it make you feel good? Because it lets you be in the flow. Why did you do this? If you picked up a sport, or if you picked up a martial arts, is what I'm hearing, did it make you feel fearless? Did it make you feel as if you're breaking a chain? Did it make you feel really good to be in your own bones? Like it's playful, it's creative, it's, a spider, when it is born, it already knows how to make its web. Going back to this mother energy that is kind of like coming through, this moon energy, if you did not have that role model in your life and you just had to kind of like learn the ropes for yourself, maybe you didn't have a parent that, showed you how to do certain things, or they did the best they could, but maybe there was a feminine energy that may have been missing. Explore that feminine side, explore that masculine side, explore the side that has been neglected from your upbringing or needs a little bit more attention. Peacock talks about inner beauty. Oh my goodness, if I could speak, guys. Inner beauty, compassion. It's the assimilator of anything. And when it's, when it's a block, it's when situations are hard to digest. It's when confidence has resentment, or it's be confident without fearing that others are going to resent you for being confident. It's when you accept yourself and you also accept others. But I love kind of like the rainbow effect that this reading is kind of giving me. But mind, body, and spirit, one of the best practices you can do is, start with, your root chakra, and then work your way up into what are your needs and desires? How can you take action on this? What needs to be transferred? What needs to die? What needs to be born in your life? And then you can start creating that web that you want. Spiders creating the silk and the fabrics, and, their web is going to be beautiful and unique to themselves. And yes, there may be certain parts that are not symmetrical, but that's okay. When you look at the web as a whole, it is beautiful. And it took time. But these peacocks over here, be flamboyant, own your feathers. Show the pride that you have for yourself. It's not vain, and maybe you've been told that this was vain. You are allowed to be able to look at yourself and say, I look good. You're allowed to say, I look good today without feeling shame. You're allowed to feel fabulous. But let's go ahead and look at ways to heal the block. Let go. It is now time to let go of all that no longer serves you. Free the pent-up energy inside of you and imagine it leaving your body as you breathe deeply. Forgive disappointments and pains. Do not allow bitterness in. Let go of control and allow for that which needs to die, so that you may blossom once more. Look at the image of this person sleeping, kind of like allowing herself to absorb herself into the earth so she can be a seed in which a new tree can grow. And I love that. Love that energy. And the self-care, self-affirmation is, you are meant to have all that you desire. You are meant to have all that you desire. And that is true. Do not limit yourself. Explore fields that you haven't seen others explore. Allow yourself to be curious. Allow yourself to network and be versatile and have all sorts of hobbies. You can paint, you can rock climb, you can do anything that you want to do, but explore it because you want to. My dears, that is your reading, and you are more than welcome to lean into another pile if you feel called to, but I'm going to go ahead and end it here. And one of the best ways to support my channel is leaving me a like and letting me know a comment. Let me know. Let me know how you're going to put yourself back in the flow, and make sure, you are not going to allow anybody else to tell you you're not fabulous, that you're not creative when you are. But I'm going to go ahead and end it here. You are more than welcome to share this with another person if you feel it may assist or help them as well. But y'all have a blessed day, guys. Bye. Hello, my dears. I just wanted to go ahead and put pile 5 out there on the timestamp so that way you can view the cards. If you needed a little bit more kind of guidance, if this was something you wanted to explore, you can always add this pile as another benefited boost to any of the other piles. But this pile right here is Venus and Virgo in the 11th house. And Venus has been one of those energies that has constantly made its appearance throughout this entire reading, where we are learning how to give and receive love and find value in those that we are around, and basically finding, a reflection of ourselves and others, and seeing what we keep our energy in. But with Virgo being here, it's, service to self, service to others, service to spirits, and looking at the details of our life. And with House 11 being around others that are like us with humanitarian, beliefs, and people who think and act like just us, and gives us a sense of purpose. But I wanted to go ahead and just kind of like put this out here so that way you can kind of view the cards and really see if your intuition is kind of picking up on anything, or if perhaps this is, maybe it's not, and you're like, okay, well, I'm glad I kind of looked at the cards. I'm going to go lean into another pile. At least this gives you a sense of direction, if you will. But if you do or would enjoy listening to this pile in the reading and how it unfolds, I have the link in the description that will link you over to my Patreon page, and you will be able to purchase it. Now, all of my readings, whenever I post them on Patreon, are $5, and that's just one way to support my channel, support me being able to purchase more cards, and to be able to explore more topics that are like this. But if you haven't already selected your piles, I encourage you to go select your piles. But I'm going to go ahead and end it here and end my reading. But I enjoy everybody that was here today and the energies that came through. And I've learned so much by just being blessed by sitting in everyone's presence and Spirit's presence. But I hope y'all have a blessed day. I'm going to go ahead and head on over, guys. Y'all have a good one.